Today's show is brought to you by Lovable. Here we go.
Title Tuesday is elite. It's the best chess players on the planet, but it's also a stage set for the underdogs. And which stories will we see unfold today? Will a kid beat another superstar? Will Hikaru Nakamura bring his beast mode? It is the best day of the week. Welcome to Title Tuesday.
Looks like Farouche's almost getting it done on the board. Should still be a draw. He's losing now suddenly.
He's throwing a thorn into the white side, holding on here for dear life. The nerves are kicking in.
He's playing with Ghost, afraid to commit.
Did he lose on time?
The clock is his worst enemy right now.
Oh, look at this. He's trapped his own king in the corner. The black rook is hit as well.
Whoa, is this a blunder?
Checkmate is coming.
David, high five. It's game week 5. All right, we're getting ready for Title Tuesday. I can't believe we're already in game week 5, almost halfway through the autumn split, David. Can you believe it?
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember when I was kind of playing chess professionally, I would play Title Tuesday every week. It's always what I look forward to, but time does fly. It feels like it was just yesterday we were here, game week 4, some crazy drama, and yet again, we're back.
We're back. This is, of course, Grandmaster David Howell, ready to take you through all the action, the 11 rounds of today's Title Tuesday. To sum it up so far, David, what do you think of the new Title Tuesday with the 5+0 time format and so much drama happening?
Yeah, we shook things up, we've got to say. We've kind of revamped quite a few things, especially the time control, but I've heard 0 complaints from the players. Taking away the increment feels cruel, but it does add to the excitement, and we've seen it all already. We've seen some underdogs winning, the likes of Alexei Sarana. We saw Magnus doing what Magnus does. Last week, we saw a comeback from Hikaru, who'd been off form. So it feels like the storylines are settling into place. Last week was probably the strongest of all the Title Tuesdays since we've revamped it, and I'm hoping that trend continues.
Oh, definitely. Let's hope we see those top players get back there today. And you mentioned Hikaru Nakamura made a comeback. The first 3 Title Tuesday, we couldn't recognize him. He was far down the result list. But last week, he was back. He was playing strategic chess. He was playing on the points. He was playing on the standings, and he won it. Was it Hikaru Nakamura at his best?
Yeah, it was the Hikaru we recognized, that you recognize at home. It was Hikaru, kind of very controlled. It was controlled aggression. He needs that passion, that energy when he plays. The first 3 weeks, it wasn't there. He was busy focusing on other stuff, I think, simply, and now it was back. Anyone who saw his stream knows how much it meant to him as well. He loves this event. He feels it's his event that he's owned and taken control of over so many years, and yeah, he showed it. He's going to be hard to stop this week.
Definitely. And if he keeps playing like he did last week, well, Hikaru Nakamura will make his way through the EWC. It happened for the first time this summer. Chess made its debut at the Esports World Cup. Magnus Carlsen, he played for Team Liquid and he took home the trophy. He won against Falcons Alireza Farouche in the final, and with a prize fund of $1.5 million. So much drama on the board, on the clocks, on the stage. Chess did get huge attention worldwide, and it's going to happen again next year, you guys. There are 13 spots in total. Magnus, as reigning champion, is already qualified, and then the top 3 players from the Speed Chess Championship, happening in a few months, and the top 3 players from the Chesscom Global Championship will each go directly to Riyadh. And then every single week in Title Tuesday, the top 10 players score points in the Champions Chess Tour. And at the end of the season, the top 6 players in the Champions Chess Tour qualifies for the Esports World Cup. Well, actually right now, it's top 7 because the already qualified Magnus is in first place. This is the current Champions Chess Tour standings. Huge names on this list, David.
Definitely. Magnus Carlsen, of course, at the top. We see Alexei Sarana. We'll talk more about him later. We see Alireza Firouzja, Hikaru Nakamura, the usual suspects. But it's also missing some big names. Fabiano Caruana played last week. We haven't seen any of the Indian superstars really make their mark yet. So we're expecting a bit of a shake-up.
Yeah.
And here we already see the players who've entered. Some big names, Nepo, but Hans Niemann is going to draw in a lot of fans this week.
Wow. All right. For the first time in the autumn split, we do see Jan Nepomniachtchi on the list. But of course, we also get very excited. Yes, when we see the American Hans Niemann is on the list. Alireza Firouzja, he's there. He came third last week. Oh, look at this. Some huge names. Vidit is here as well again. He made his debut in the autumn split last week. Huge names, you guys. Players are logging on from every single corner of the globe. And I have to mention, Chica Pride. You probably never heard of her, David. She is the lowest rated player so far to feature in the autumn split, playing from Bahamas, lucky girl, with a FIDE standard rating of 1591. She proves that this is the stage for the underdogs. Only 15 years old. And then we've seen several 10-year-olds play in Title Tuesday so far. But the oldest player so far in the autumn split is Papu Murthy from the US. He's born in 1949, 76 years old. He's played in 3 game weeks so far. Go Papu Murthy. Anna Crumling has already played in a couple Title Tuesdays, scored 4.5 points last week. And then, of course, we are hoping to see the top players. We know we're going to see a bunch of the top players. We're not going to see this guy. Alexei Sarana is here. He's our guest for Game Week 5, streaming from the Dave Cave. Where is Magnus Carlsen? He's not going to play from his streaming room, at least today. So maybe we're not going to see Magnus Carlsen today. Would that be a huge disappointment?
It would be disappointing. Hopefully he finds a way to enter despite everything. We'll wait and see. He loves a late entrance, Magnus Carlsen. He loves fashionably late arrivals. And we'll keep an eye on that chair to inform you in case he does arrive. But for now, no Magnus. And Sarana, though, looking sharp.
He is. Sarana, of course, won Game Week 1. Alexei Sarana, he's number 2 on the Champions Chess Tour standings. A fantastic player. Everything set for him to do well today. And let's hear what he said when he entered the Take offices today.
I have a mouse with me, but let's see. Maybe I will like yours more. I just bring mouse, so I don't need anything else. This month I performed quite well. I won one Tuesday and 2 times I was in prizes. So far it's going very, very good. Last 2 Tuesdays I won against Magnus a couple times. It was really great. There is a huge changes that now I can qualify. It will be very tough, but I hope I have some chance. There is quite a huge prize fund in Riyadh. It's just very cool. I think there was a prize for last place like $50,000, which is huge.
Alexei Sarana, what chances do you give him, David?
I think decent chances. I keep thinking of him as an underdog because, of course, Magnus is Magnus, Hikaru is Hikaru. But Alexei Sarana, he won Game Week 1, and he has been European champion across team, individual, different time formats. He's super consistent. That's one of his keys. He never really seems to get nervous. He's a bit of an Iceman. So, yeah, if things fall in his way, if he starts fast, nothing can stop him there.
Fantastic. We're definitely going to follow him. Playing in the beautiful Dave Cave today. 213 players across 50 different countries has joined so far. So far in the autumn split, the first 4 game weeks, we've had more than 900 different players. Let's see how many we'll see join today. 5 minutes to go, and let's talk power rankings. David, who should we watch out for today?
Yeah, so I've chosen to highlight 3 players today. We do this every week. I'm going to start with Hikaru Nakamura. He is the reigning Title Tuesday winner from last week. He really brought his A game, justified that 95 overall score. He only drew 2 games last week in the infamous Berlin opening, but he defeated Magnus with black. Anyone who can do that deserves to be up on this screen. Second, Alexei Sarana in the Dave Cave. Maybe that will give him the extra magic needed to beat the likes of Hikaru. He, on his day, could beat anyone up at 88. Maybe not quite at the elite level of some of the others, but definitely a dangerous customer. But third, not least, we've gone for Vidit, who I think might have been on the entries already. Last week, he played, he got top 10, got some Champions Chess Tour leaderboard points, and he won the Streamer's Prize. So a good week for Vidit last time.
What is the Streamer's Prize, David?
Yeah, the Streamer's Prize, it takes a while because we have so many people streaming this event, which is great. It takes a while to kind of see who's been streaming, who's not. But it's all about who finishes highest without getting one of the main top prizes and who has been streaming their thoughts for our chess community. And Vidit last time finished above the likes of Magnus Carlsen, so a deserved winner. As we see some of the players making their last-minute preparations here.
Love this view. All right, so we see Jan Nepomniachtchi talking, so that means he's probably actually streaming. That's going to be so cool to see how he will do, making his debut now at the Autumn Split. And then, of course, Hans Niemann looks like he's comfortable getting ready for Title Tuesday. Let's kick off Gameweek 5.
Magnus!
Oh!
Is that a blunder? Apparently, this is a big, big mistake. 7 seconds versus 8 seconds. It's a race. Hikaru is totally winning on the board. So 1 second for the opponent, 1 second each, 2 seconds each. Who's going to win on time? Can Hikaru deliver checkmate? He gives checkmate.
He's only 15 years old. He's got 15 seconds on the clock. He's massively better.
Magnus down to 2 seconds. Queen trade. Queen trades. Queen's off the board. Rook taking the pawn. Magnus Carlsen loses on time.
Sticky mouse. Yuck.
The knight is coming in, and look at Drigalov celebrating on the camera, takes the lead.
He cannot believe it. Drigalov with 4 seconds left on the clock.
We got him. We got him. Finally, we got him.
Okay.
There we go.
That's a sad, sad way to finish the tournament.
I mean, he ruined my tournament like 2 weeks ago, but finally we got the payback with a big win.
You just gotta love listening to that. It was not the best day for Magnus last week, and he even finished with a loss to Hikaru, who on the contrary had an amazing day. He won the tournament and he finished off with a win against Magnus.
Yeah, I think we'll be seeing that storyline, that rivalry continue throughout the year, throughout all these splits. But yeah, Magnus, Hikaru, they've got this main character energy. And ultimately, it was Hikaru who came out on top last time.
Yeah. It was. Will he do that again today? Hikaru Nakamura, he still hasn't joined. I still don't see Hikaru Nakamura's name on the list. I'm getting a little nervous. Also, Magnus Carlsen is not there. Let's talk about what's gonna... Well, we have news.
Okay.
Some huge news just dropped on Magnus Carlsen's Instagram. Oh.
Just 5 minutes ago, this story was posted.
Oh, that's actually making me a little teary. That's beautiful. The baby is here. Baby Magnus is here. The mini goat has arrived. Oh. That's beautiful.
Okay, we'll let him off this week.
Yes.
If he wants to skip Title Tuesday, I guess some things are more important, Kaya.
And I think I saw a date there, 27th, so that's 3 days ago. Congratulations to Magnus and Allah. Of course, not playing Title Tuesday today. Magnus has something else to focus on. Huge news, you guys. Baby Carlsen is here. Magnus Carlsen is a father. The greatest chess player in history will not play Title Tuesday today for very good reasons. Hikaru Nakamura has joined, and Title Tuesday Game Week 5 starts in only 1 minute. Yep. This is the autumn split, you guys. Title Tuesday now is divided into 3 splits. Today we're kicking off Game Week 5 in the autumn split, and each split has 13 game weeks. Of course, every single Tuesday consists of 11 rounds, and the time control is 5 minutes, 0 increment, and that's why we've seen so much drama so far. And of course, this is what the players are fighting for, the Champions Chess Tour points. The winner gets 10 points, and that's what Hikaru Nakamura got last week. He has joined, you guys. Hikaru Nakamura is ready to play again, trying to defend the victory that he had last week. All right, we're getting ready for pairings as well. to see who's going to face each other in the first rounds. Of course, one of the things we love about Title Tuesdays is that in the first few rounds, we do see the superstars against those lower rated players. We do see chances for those big underdog upsets. We've seen a few of them already. The kids beating the superstars, the lower rated players, making their mark. I'm getting very excited about Game Week 5, David. Look at this. Here he comes. Hikaru Nakamura starts against Sebastian. Alireza Firouzja against Birkic. And Jan Nepomniachtchi, making his debut in Title Tuesday, the Autumn Split, is also ready. All right. We're going to jump into Hikaru Nakamura. He starts with the white pieces. Remember, you guys, 5 minutes on the clock, no increment, up against a player from Canada who apparently roots for Montreal.
Montreal, indeed. This is Sebastian Azar. And let's see. Okay, the game begins with the Trompovsky opening. That is indicated by the white bishop coming out early. It looks like a London system now with white's bishop on that f4 square. But white did lose a move. White has moved that bishop twice. Hikaru doesn't really employ this opening at the top level. The Trompovsky has been used by the likes of Magnus Carlsen. It's actually an English-British speciality. Lots of the top Grandmasters over in the UK playing this opening. But this is Hikaru now occupying the center, having surprised his opponent and probably pretty happy with how this Trompovsky has fizzled out.
Sebastian here, Azar from Canada. He's 23 years old. He's rated barely above 2,000 on the FIDE list. And on chess.com, his name is Chesh Lebanabashala. 2,700 rated in Blitz. He's playing his second game week in the Autumn Split. He scored 5.5 points, actually, in Game Week 2. So this is someone who could potentially cause an upset to Hikaru Nakamura on his day. But Hikaru Nakamura, yeah, he looks confident today. He looks ready.
Yeah, he looks sharp. Normally when Hikaru is pretty chilled, not reacting too much in the early stages, that is a good sign for him. He saves the energy, the drama, the kind of ferocious power that he brings to chess for later in the tournament. We see the game now resemble somewhat of a King's Indian defense. That's because the Black King has committed itself now over to that right side of the board. In front of it, a fianchettoed bishop and some quick moves there. Hikaru gaining space. The white squared strategy, pushing all of his pawns onto light squares. Hikaru, normally if he starts well, he kind of picks up some confidence, momentum on the way. The first 3 weeks when he wasn't at his best, that is because he didn't start too well, losing to some IMs early, losing to some younger players. And look at this, Hikaru now pushing pawns forward and going for the enemy king, already trying to break open that white side of the board. And yeah, his opponent, Sebastian, under some real pressure here already.
Hikaru Nakamura, he won it last week. That was his 107th Title Tuesday win in history. He is the best player ever to play in Title Tuesday. He is now also the highest rated player on chess.com in online Blitz. He recently took that place from Magnus Carlsen. Hikaru Nakamura, he's in form these days.
Yeah, definitely. Hikaru's in form. He's showing it in this game as well. There are some tricks. Watch out. The white rook is staring down an enemy queen. That could end badly for Hikaru's opponent right now. He's really mastered this style, Hikaru, of just improving his position, not taking too much risk, outplaying opponents strategically, while not allowing them any hope or counterplay. It's the clock as well, which is always a big factor we see here. Hikaru already with 1 minute extra as he retreats his knight, hitting that black queen as we predicted. Next, he's going to step forward. He might even be winning a piece here, Hikaru Nakamura. He's going to step forward with his pawn, and the black knight in the center, surprisingly, could find itself trapped. No safe squares. Hikaru nodding his head there, talking it through to his community there, to his chat. I think he's winning a piece. It's that simple. A weird retreating move by his knight, missed by the opponent, and Hikaru is going to profit. That knight is doomed in the center of the board.
Hikaru, still with his king in the middle of the board here, and not with the opportunity to castle anytime super soon. What will happen with his king?
Yeah, that's the one long-term factor that Hikaru has to watch out for. His king and general piece development, these pieces on the back row, still somewhat asleep. But Hikaru, he knows that For now, black has no active pieces. If you look at the black pieces, they're all stuck on their first ranks as well. A king is only weak if there are opponents' kind of army forces to attack it. So black has no attacking pieces, therefore white's king is fine for now. And it just needs one more move, getting the white knight out the way before the white king can finally castle to safety. And that should represent a winning advantage for Hikaru Nakamura. Double the opponent's time, extra knight for him. Looks like a winning position.
Massively better for Hikaru Nakamura. What a start to game week 5. This is round 1, a total of 11 rounds before we have a winner. This is the first game, and he's up against an NM from Canada, who doesn't seem to stand a chance against the great Hikaru Nakamura. Playing super fast today, Hikaru.
Yeah, that is normally a bad sign for the opponents when Hikaru is playing this speedy. It's only really when the clocks are level, that's when you have a chance. When you're 1-2 minutes down, piece down in this case for Sebastian, unfortunately, it is almost hopeless. Hikaru now trying to do some last-minute calculation. In return for the knight, black does have 2 pawns, so some compensation, some hope on the board. There's a weakness over on the other side as well, with white's pawn almost hanging in some variations. Hikaru shaking his head. Has he miscalculated? No. He takes the queens off the board. He's going down to an endgame. It should still be winning for him. Maybe not the smoothest in terms of winning this position. It could have done it maybe a bit quicker, but the queens are coming off now. And there we go. White's queen disappears. It's an endgame. Black has 3 pawns, but not enough. And Hikaru, what can I say? I think he's the favorite this week. I think by quite a margin. The fact that Magnus is busy, Magnus isn't playing, that's going to only give Hikaru more energy and confidence.
Huge news dropped a few minutes ago, everyone. Magnus Carlsen announcing on Instagram that the baby is here. He is now a father. He is at home with his wife Ella and the new baby. Again, massive congratulations to Magnus and Ella. All right, as we see the bar swing. And okay, it's back for Hikaru. And of course, Hikaru is also becoming a father probably this year in a few months or something like that. Yeah. It's a big year for the biggest chess players to have some kids.
Yeah, the next generation are coming already.
Yeah.
Hikaru and Magnus, their kids might well be facing each other in elite tournaments in a few years' time. I believe, yeah, in a couple of months, Hikaru might be missing a Title Tuesday or 2. But for now, he's here with us, he's focused, he's locked in, and he's not going to be having kids yet. He's facing the kids in the tournament.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Right now, playing a 23-year-old from Canada, Hikaru Nakamura, with more than 2 minutes still on his clock, but it's trouble for Sebastian with only, well, a little over 30 seconds left to save this against Hikaru. Do you see any hopes for the black pieces here?
Yeah, Sebastian's defended really well, I should say. It is still almost winning for white. The eval bar says much, much better for Hikaru Nakamura. That's because he still has 2 knights against 1 knight. He's still a whole piece up. But there we see some quick moves. Hikaru is grabbing black's remaining pawns. The only way to save this for black would be to trade rooks and get rid of white's 2 remaining pawns. 2 knights alone cannot deliver checkmate. But unfortunately, that is a distant dream right now. Hikaru grabs the last black pawns. He's going to start checking that black king, which is almost checkmated. First, he pins the black knight in the center. Black is immobilized there. No real hope. 14 seconds for Sebastian as the knight step forward with a check. The black knight in the center is lost. Hikaru is now going to give another check with his rook once the black king moves, and it's going to be a 2-knight advantage for Hikaru. His opponent's ticking down on time, though. The clock has gone red. Rook and 2 knights versus just a rook. It's going to be game over. Sebastian plays a couple last moves here, gets a check, but ends up losing. Hikaru takes the win in round 1.
Everything as it should be for Hikaru Nakamura here. So far, 1 point after round 1, and no huge upsets here. So far, Alireza Firouzja has won his round 1 game. Andreikin has also won, and so has Jan Nepomniachtchi, his first Title Tuesday win of the season. I also noticed Hans Niemann took a point in the first round. All right, we're jumping into this one. Magzudlu, one of the top guns, here with the black pieces against a candidate master. This one, the bar is in the middle.
The bar's in the middle, and here Magzulu is the one fighting for a draw on the board. Black has 1 pawn, white has 3. Yes, black can make a new queen, but that will not save him. The white rook will happily give itself up for the black pawn. And look at the white pawns. The black king is so far away. Magzulu has to be really careful here, although apparently suddenly much better. And look at this, a trick by Magzulu, deflects away the white rook in order to make a new queen. That queen will be born on the next move, and here, Magzulu must be a big favorite. The black queen, once it lands, there we go. It appears will cause white so many problems. All of the checks now, you cannot pre-move. 9 seconds for white. And here we go, the last pawn dropping off. Magzulu, with that nasty, nasty trick, is about to win. Tkachuk here, big trouble as the clock turns red. He lets the clock run down, does he? Magzulu will get confirmation in a moment. He's still grinding this one out. 3 seconds for white, 2 seconds. No easy moves. White's about to lose his rook, potentially. Gets trapped on the back rank now. Magzulu, so close. His opponent's got no time.
Has he run out of time? It's very red for Tkachuk, a 16-year-old from Russia. He loses with the white pieces to Magzulu, who takes the win. It doesn't seem like we've had any huge upsets here so far. Sarana, of course, playing from the Dave Cave, takes the point in the first round with the white pieces. Vincent Keimer is here for game week 5, and he starts out with the win. Esipenko starts out with a win. Sina Movahed, who's been a big name in the first game weeks. He's played Magnus Carlsen several times and even beat him. He also starts out with a win. Round 2 is coming up, you guys. This time, Hikaru Nakamura has the black pieces against Akash. Furuja with the white pieces against Katsanis. Andreikin with the black pieces, Nepo. We will follow again. Hikaru Nakamura started out with a great win, and here with the black pieces against an international master from India. This will be a tough one.
This will be a tough one. Hikaru's opponent is currently in first place due to alphabetical order. His opponent's name starts with double A. That means you're in first place. And this isn't Akash. This is Andrew Tang. We'll get Akash up shortly, I'm sure. But in the meantime, Hikaru starts with a Queen's Indian defense. It's a bit risky here. You give white the pawn center, but this Queen's Indian, due to the fact that the bishop is fianchetted on the queen side, it is known to be solid enough. Hikaru will get his pieces out, he will get castled, and the game will be focused on a fight for the center of the board. As players moving very quickly, still well-known theoretical position here. Both players seemingly well prepared.
And here we see him joining us on camera. Akash from India, an international master born in 2002, around 23 years old, from the great land of India. So many Indian players have featured so far in Title Tuesday, the autumn split. But this is actually the first game week that we see Akash here with the white pieces against Hikaru Nakamura. A big game for him. Hoping, dreaming of getting that underdog win.
Yeah, and he needs to take inspiration from a few weeks ago where Hikaru was vulnerable to some of these underrated IMs, these really speedy players who attacked him. And right now, Akash is trying to go on the attack. He was trying to create a nasty pin. Some tension between the bishops now. To take or not to take is the question. Black's knight looks odd at the edge of the board, but does want to jump in to start attacking white's queen, white's bishop, and some very important pieces there. Hikaru is going to be happy with that trade. Eval Bar says slightly better for white. Computers love these positions with white having this beautiful pawn center, but long-term, black has decent chances. Lots of open lines for the rooks as they start to line up now. And this is the type of position Hikaru has a lot of experience in. So Akash has done nothing wrong at all, but it's going to be very, very hard this next phase of the game to outplay someone as wily as Hikaru Nakamura.
Akash lets his clock tick. He is down now to 3 minutes and 40 seconds. There is no increment in Title Tuesday. Hikaru Nakamura was one of the players who maybe needed some time to adjust to that new time format. Probably the player who's played the most Title Tuesdays in history. And suddenly the format changed and the increment was just removed. No more increment. But now he's gotten the hang of it.
Yeah, Hikaru, he's used to things changing. FIDE changing some rules recently, thanks to him.
Right.
As, he needed some time to adapt to our new format changing. He's very adaptable. That is the key trait. These top players in the world, they try and change the rules. Nope, they find a way to get the job done anyway and keep winning.
The news that you're talking about, of course, is that FIDE is changing some rating rules. There should no longer be the opportunity to do what you call farming of rating points, something that Hikaru has basically been doing. He's been playing lower rated tournaments to gain all those classical games he needs to be eligible to play the candidates. He's probably going to get that rating spot. And there seems to be a lot of controversy around these things. I've seen a lot of angry players on X, for example, criticizing FIDE for this.
Yeah, I'm one of them, I must admit. And yeah, it feels like there are bigger issues than farming. Farming has never really been talked about in World Chess until the last few months. And I mean, the FIDE rating system, it's been ongoing for, what, 50, 55 years now. So it's clearly not a major issue. There are other issues in the rating system. Deflation is one of them. The fact that the kind of middle is being hollowed out of the rating system as the top maintain their position and players lower down are getting pushed ever further. So Hikaru, he's mainly been playing those games in the US, these big opens, just to get games under his belt to fulfill candidates' criteria. FIDE could have just said, your opposition needs to be average 2600 and problem solved. Instead, they've changed the rules for everyone just to tackle Hikaru.
Yeah.
So very interesting decisions by FIDE. There's pros, there's cons. There's no right or wrong. Clearly, there's issues with the system in general, inherently, but yeah, interesting that FIDE react when they see Hikaru playing. They don't react to others who've been doing similar for many years.
Yeah, definitely. There's been big reactions to it. I don't think I've seen Hikaru, and he might be streaming his reaction today. Do you know how he feels about it, and sort of that he is used as the example of why FIDE decides to now enforce this rule?
I haven't seen Hikaru's thoughts yet, I must admit. I'm sure they'll come out. I'm sure he has some very strong kind of preferences either way. Ultimately, though, this new system FIDE are implementing, it's not going to affect Hikaru at all. He's only doing this because FIDE set other rules. He hasn't done this type of thing for 10, 15 years. It's going to affect those players who need to make a living by playing these big open tournaments and who are already dropping tons of rating against young, underrated kids. That's going to happen even more and even more kind of quickly in future due to these new developments. As the position repeats itself, I should mention Akash doing very well. This is the second time we've seen this position now as Hikaru Nakamura. If he brings his queen across to offer the trade, and then if he goes back where he came from, we would see threefold and a draw. Hikaru doesn't want to draw, of course, against the lower rated player, but look at this. Hikaru is taking a risk, putting his rook on a slightly dubious square. Eval Bar says better for white now. He's doing this because he needs to win. That's the only way you win Title Tuesday, by racking up a massive score, just as he does in these open tournaments. And we'll see if Hikaru's risk pays off.
Hikaru Nakamura is not doing too good in this game right now. Akash, the international master from India, is better on the bar. All right, it goes back down after that rook move from Akash. How would you describe this game right now, David?
Yeah, it's very tense. It's very cagey. I would say that neither player really wants to commit. Neither player has found a good plan. Hikaru there attacking the white queen, but it's only going to be forced back with his knight. There we go. Hikaru wasting time. If Akash wants to tease Hikaru, he could drop back his queen, repeat the position, but he says no. Akash now wants to try and win, but he is down 40 seconds on the clock. I think Hikaru's strategy is clear. He's just trying to keep the position stable, trying to trade off queens and hope that the clock situation favors him. Akash is looking desperately for a plan. The white queen staying on the board. He wants to push pawns forward and start to attack the black king, maybe on this diagonal later, but it's not easy. Whichever pawn you push forward, you lose squares, you commit, and black is very, very active. Black is very ready for any action. We see the bard now turning in Hikaru's favor as he tries to infiltrate. He's behind enemy lines, that's a check. The white king pushed to the edge of the board. The white queen's offside. This is turning in Hikaru's favor.
Akash only has 1 minute left on his clock. Both queens are still in this game. This must be so difficult to maneuver for Akash.
Yeah, so difficult to find a plan. Hikaru, he's the master of these type of maneuvering battles. He's so patient. He plays blitz games. He streams for 7-8 hours sometimes because he is Mr. Patient. And here, unfortunately, it is Akash who is in the doctor's office as the patient this time. So suffering here, 40 seconds for white. He just needs to gamble now. You have no time. You need to just push a pawn and risk it. Go for the attack. before it's too late. You don't want to lose on time, not having had a chance to go for the enemy king.
I keep looking at the picture behind Akash. I think it's a picture of Magnus Carlsen, and I don't know who's against, but he's made a blunder here.
Yeah, it's facing Vishy Anand, I believe, in one of the World Championship matches. This is a blunder because look at this. Hikaru is in. He's breaking through on the first rank. It's not necessarily going to end in checkmate. It's more about the Black Queen coming in next. The rooks will get traded. The Black Queen will jump in. There's going to be a fork of some pieces. Maybe the Black Queen will also use this square now, attacking 2 of White's pieces. There we go. This is very hard to defend. The White Queen is able to defend this knight, but White is so tied up. Hikaru is up a pawn. 11 seconds for White. Akash looks ready to resign. Not much hope here. Hikaru, bobbing his head, takes the win.
It's another win for Hikaru Nakamura. He goes to 2 out of 2 after 2 rounds. Akash, a very talented IM. Well, he loses to Hikaru Nakamura, jumping in to this game between Andrejkin. Still, round 2, he's playing against an international master. The clocks are ticking faster and the king is moving. What are we seeing on the board, David?
Andrejkin, a former candidate, is in huge trouble against his IM opponent. White has an extra rook. Black's pawn 1 square away from promotion has been stopped, and there we go. Andrejkin taken down by an underdog. Fantastic result for the Mongolian IM. Look at that smile on the camera. He deserves it. That was a fantastic endgame technique there.
The first underdog story we get to witness here in game week 5. Agi Bileg takes the victory against Andrejkin. Huge win with the white pieces there for the international master. Wow, all right. Well, we did talk about underdog stories, and they're already happening. They always happen in Title Tuesdays. That's why we love Title Tuesdays. It's not only the best players in the world, we also see the kids and we see the young, lower rated players, and they do have a chance to create history, to have the best day of their chess lives, beating those superstars. All right, any other upsets here? No, looks like the top guys are banking the points. Alireza Firouzja is on 2 out of 2. Hans Niemann is on 2 out of 2. Jan Nepomniachtchi is on 2 out of 2. So it means we're going to get to see some big battles here today, David, when these superstars start facing each other.
Yeah, we're going to see some GM versus GM clashes in round 3. That's almost guaranteed now. Nice to see the likes of Eric Rosen, another streamer, up on 2 out of 2. Maybe he'll get another shot at one of the big guns. But ultimately, the favorites, they tend to cruise through the first 3-4 rounds. Up until the first break, that's when it gets really tricky for them. And okay, we see the top of the standings. Some very big names. Hikaru's playing Klukin here. I wonder whether we follow Alexei Sarana as he faces Vugar Rasilov, who we saw last week start against Magnus Carlsen, ultimately taken down there. Some big names. Firouzja also playing someone very strong.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I vote that we go into Alexei Sarana. Maybe we check out what's happening next door.
Would be cool. Alexei Sarana is playing from the Dave Cave today. He won game week 1 and he is fighting to win it again. I spoke to him before it started today. He is super eager to show off today from the Dave Cave. In here, he has the white pieces against Rasilov. What's happening on this board, David?
Yeah, so it's early days. This was a semi-Slav opening with black building a big triangle of pawns, sometimes known as the triangle system. But the front black pawn has now been traded off. White pushed a pawn to e4, costing some time. But here, Alexei Sarana has the long-term advantage. He's got a beautiful pawn center, as it's going to be very hard to challenge those pawns. Not just that, but the nature of the position means that black has a problem piece. This black bishop is stuck behind its own army, stuck behind its own pawns for a long time. And Alexei Sarana, if he can keep as many pieces on the board as possible, should be very happy. Queens might, though, be leaving. Here we go. He's still doing very well, as the eval bar says. White has more space. White has a centralized king. White has easy access to the center with his rooks. So lots of small factors. Alexei, he is fantastic in these positions. He's a universal player. With White, I've not seen many players as dangerous as him.
Wow.
His openings are so spot on. Always pawn to d4 and move 1. Always power play after that. And Rasilov, we saw him against Magnus last week. He was a bit negative, a bit passive. I think this is the type of position that's solid, but unlikely to ever lead to a win for black.
And we see Rasilov joining on camera as well, a grandmaster from Azerbaijan, 34 years old. He is almost 3,000 on chess.com Blitz. a fantastically strong player in this format. He's played 2 game weeks so far in the autumn split. This is the 3rd time he joins us. Hasn't scored too many points though. 5 points in game week 2, 3 points in game week 4, but he's gotten off to a great start in game week 5. Already 2 points. Still chances to win this one?
It's going to be tough for black. Essentially, Rasulov with the black pieces is adopting a waiting strategy. He's saying, come at me. Later, I'll try and counter. Now he's lashing forward with some pawns, just offering some trades. More likely that here, black just sits and sits. If white can't break through, it's going to be a draw. Or if white overextends, maybe then Rasulov can take the win. I should mention that those kind of low point tallies that he's amassed in previous weeks is because he quits early. He withdraws. As soon as he realizes he won't win a prize, Rasulov, he's out of here. He has other plans on his Tuesdays, clearly. So very interesting that we see rooks being traded as well. Alexei Sarana, if he wants to win this game, needs to keep some pieces on the board. It does feel like Rasulov's cynically just going all out for a draw. That must be frustrating for Sarana here. Will he trade or will he keep the rooks on the board? That is the big question. If you take the rooks off, maybe winning chances lower, but risk also disappears. You could swing your rook the other way to another open line here, but you do kind of give the black rook entry points on the other side of the board. And look at this, he's trading but closing down the black bishop. Still, I like white's position, but it's going to be very, very difficult to win here.
Feels strange to see this board now without any pieces or pawns on the ranks or the first rows. Everything just cramping into the middle here.
Yeah, a bit of a traffic jam in the middle.
Yeah.
He's so desperate to trade everything off now, Sarana, that he's even offering a trade of knights. But this would be a huge mistake to take off these knights right now for Rasulov. The white pawn will recapture, and the black bishop will be dead for life. Look at this black bishop. It's such a bad piece. It's just a big pawn. And Alexei Sarana widening his eyes here, shocked that he's allowed now to trade the knights. I'm very surprised as well. Eval Bar says it's dead level, but visually it looks fantastic for white. Such a tough judgment call. Maybe it's just not enough weaknesses. Black has one bad piece, but everything else nicely protected. Alexei Sarana could be dropping his first points here unless he can find a way in to the black camp.
Alexei Sarana is number 41 on the FIDE rating list, but he's number 17 in online blitz chess. Remember, he won game week 1. He's played all title Tuesdays so far in the autumn split, always scoring a lot of points. He is someone to reckon with. He's won title Tuesday 18 times, and he's fighting to win it for the 19th time today. We're definitely going to pay close attention to Sarana now with 2 minutes, 17 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, interesting decision there. Sarana spent nearly 1 minute before deciding not to trade knights. Right now, the white knight looks nice, but it is being kicked back. I think he will be regretting this decision. Has Sarana made a mistake here? Now, if he retreats the knight, the black pawn steps forward, and the white bishop is trapped in the center of the board. If you retreat this way, you get forked. He's trapped his own knight here, Alexei Sarana, but he keeps that piece alive. Nearly a blunder there. So close to a blunder. I think he missed black's move, but kind of lucked out and is now able to get his knight out of prison. Did not go to plan, Alexei Sarana, with a slight shake of the head a moment ago. But yeah, he is a very resourceful player, so he gets his knight out and still a level, balanced endgame.
He is streaming from the Dave Cave today. I'm going to turn on the sound on Alexei Sarana. He's speaking in English on the stream today. He looks kind of silent, but let's hear.
Bishop f5 is promising.
Very focused, Alexei Sarana. And he has little time on the clock compared to Rasulov.
Yeah. Feels like he's a bit nervous. He's calculating desperately. He's played a very good move there. He's trying to get the black knight. If he gets that knight, then the enemy piece to trap. And look at that, the bar suddenly swings. It's a blunder by Rasulov, who's trapped his own knight. If that knight ever moves, the white bishop will happily capture it, leaving white with the dominant piece. And look at this beautiful maneuver.
Dead. This knight is also. So now we should be winning.
Should be winning. He sees it and the bar confirms. He is massively better, Alexei Sarana. Oh, he's scared. Would you be scared in this position, David?
No longer scared, I think. He was definitely scared.
I lose a piece.
Alexei Sarana. A few moves ago, his knight was trapped. Now his knight is the best piece on the board, and he's about to win. Look at that black bishop. Never got into this game. Now he's just going to bring his king, push his pawn. There we go. A check. The white king is coming
Now
forward.
it will be Zugzwang after king f6. He has no...
Expecting Zugzwang. This will be a big win for Alexei Sarana. Russellov, the Grandmaster, is
And
a
now
really,
king
really
d4.
good Title Tuesday
So-
player and chess player. But a smile on Alexei Sarana's face. Oh, and look at Russellov.
Tick, 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 tick,
Not
tick,
happy.
Tick, tack, 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 tick, tick, tick. Okay, it's got to be.
He's going to take
Have a
and
lot
take.
of stamps.
We do love the takes.
And he's going to come in and take that black bishop, which is trapped in the corner. He's worked it all out. He's coming in.
Yes, everything right.
And, ooh, Russellov, has he switched off? That bishop is dropping off the board.
Are we seeing a rage
It was
quit in
almost a
action?
good game.
Does look that way. Russellov, there we go, resigns. Alexei Sarana takes the win. After being scared, he gets the job done.
He was scared, but he takes it. A win for Alexei Sarana. 3 points after 3 rounds. It's something with the air and the Dave Cave playing fantastic. All right, yay, let's follow Jan Nepomniachtchi playing his first Title Tuesday in the autumn split. He's got 1 minute left on the clock against Spar. What's happening here?
Wow, when we jumped in, Nepomniachtchi, and again in big trouble. He's down a rook for a knight. White has an extra pawn as well. The black king is quite close, so you have to be careful, but you can start giving some checks. There we go. Drive the black king away. A pawn drops. Jan Nepomniachtchi in huge trouble. Here we see Spar. He's really trying to get the job done. He gives a check. That could be the final nail in the coffin. How does black get out of this? If you move your king across, you get checked, you lose your knight. If you move the king the other way, you would have been checked from behind as well. Nepomniachtchi here, is he relying on a final trick? No, it's a check. The black king's going to be forced back. The knight drops off. 2 rooks versus 1. Jan Nepomniachtchi on his camera there looks devastated. This is just going to end in checkmate if he's not careful now. The lawnmower checkmate, the white rook coming from behind. Spar looking happy on his camera, starting to smile. He knows it's job done. If the black rook comes down, the white rook blocks. Game over. Nepomniachtchi, is he going to resign or play a few final moves? The Polish Grandmaster about to take one of the biggest wins of his career.
Huge, and look at his face, celebrating with a cup of coffee. Milos Spar from Poland. The 23-year-old Grandmaster takes down Jan Nepomniachtchi in round 3. Look at that power pose. 30 seconds on the clock, and he takes it with the white pieces. Huge win for the Polish Grandmaster. Big loss for Jan Nepomniachtchi. All right, round 3 still happening, you guys. This is Alireza Firouzja, one of the biggest favorites every single week in Title Tuesday. He's got the black pieces here against a FIDE master. And both of them, so little time on the clock.
Yeah, this is a pawn race now. The white rook is going to give up its life for the black pawn. It's going to, at some point, there we go, capture that black pawn. Firouzja now cannot win. He only has a knight left. If white runs out of time, the game will be declared a draw. This game should be a draw, though. The black knight is going to hold off the white pawn. Pre-moves, the clock's turning red. 2 seconds for white now. He's trying to trick Firouzja, but no. There we go. Not enough material left. It is a draw. 1 second left, though, for Slokin at the end.
Wow, Sergei Slokin from Russia, the 12-year-old. A draw against Alireza Firouzja. Huge result there for the young Russian. And a big upset for Alireza Firouzja. Only half a point here in round 3. He's not going to be happy with that at all.
Yeah, last week he was almost perfect for Firouzja, chasing Hikaru right to the bitter end, but that's because he got off to a really fast start. This time, a draw's not the worst thing, it's not the end of the world. It's still only round 3, but disappointment, that is for sure. Alireza Firouzja against such a young opponent as well.
Yeah. Well, the underdog stories, you guys, they do happen in Title Tuesday. We see a bunch of players on 3 points. Perfect score so far. We're heading into round 4. It's a big one for Hikaru Nakamura up against Deak. And then Alexei Sarana coming from that win. He's going to have the black pieces in round 4. But this one, we're going to follow Hikaru with the black pieces against Deak. What are we seeing here, David?
Yeah, still very early days. This is the Nimzo Indian defense. That is the black bishop coming out very early to pin the white knight. And we see the variation with white bringing out the queen very early in order to push pawns forward. And there's a big dilemma here for Hikaru Nakamura. This opening is well known to lead to many forced draws. This is well worked out. Often the black queen now comes out. There we go, attacking the white bishop. The black queen retreats. This is very well-known opening theory. Dayak, a very strong grandmaster here, is basically tempting Hikaru to play what isn't going to be the best move, but he needs to try something different, Hikaru, if he wants to risk it and win it. There we go. More trades, bishop and knight disappearing, center disappearing. Here, often the black pawn captures a bishop, the white bishop captures a knight, and everything starts to fizzle out. This is heading towards a well-known drawn line.
Bogdan Daniel Dert from Romania. He is one of the top 100 players on the Blitz.com on the chess.com Blitz rating. Someone who definitely can beat Hikaru Nakamura on his day with the white pieces here.
And here we see Hikaru spending a bit of time. I think he was torn in two minds there. He could have gone for a different variation and pretty much forced a draw, guaranteed it. I've seen Hikaru play out that whole variation against Wesley so many, many times. Instead, Hikaru's gone for something slightly more risky. Black is up a pawn, but look at the eval bar. Slightly better for white due to the weakness of the black king. This pawn especially is sticking out like a sore thumb. Now, here, Dayak can swap queens, win back the pawn. This is the position I've had myself in a big tournament.
Really?
Once when playing for England a few years ago, I believe in 2021. And there I ended up winning quite quickly because my opponent blundered. Hikaru is taking big risks here with black. For now, it's still in the balance, still should be holdable. This knight is attacked. Now white is going to occupy the open line, but Hikaru is still on the defensive because he has two big pieces asleep. Hikaru is shaking his head. He's not happy with the outcome of this opening.
We can see it on his face, Hikaru Nakamura, with 3.5 minutes left. That's less time than his opponent from Romania. Will we see an upset here, or will it be a draw?
I would say a draw is still the most likely result, but Hikaru's down a pawn. That white knight did some jumping. There we go. Eval bar says better for white. A pawn is a pawn. It's opposite color bishop, so very high drawish tendencies. If all the rooks disappear, almost a guaranteed draw. But there's still enough life here for Dayak to try and pressure Hikaru. This is the first time today we've seen Hikaru lower on the clock, talking to himself, shaking his head. Those could add up a bit later. Hikaru needs to take some drastic measures. He blocks the open line, stopping the white rook coming in, kicking away the white knight, which will retreat. And Hikaru still shaking his head, not happy at all, only fighting for a draw, not able to get any advantage here.
Hikaru Nakamura needs to turn this around. Bunch of questions on YouTube and Twitch. Where is Magnus? And for those who hasn't checked out Instagram, he had a baby. This is a draw. Round 4, Hikaru Nakamura has to accept a draw here against Bogdan Daniel Dayak from Romania. Half a point. That's not what Hikaru wanted from round 4. Bunch of games still happening. We see Hikaru there with 3.5 points on top of the standings, but we definitely will see someone on 4 points after round 4. Who will it be, though? Will Sarana be on that perfect score? He is now up against Drozdowski from Poland. And the white player is much better here. Sarana struggling.
Yeah, Drozdowski's very, very dangerous. He's super tricky. And here we see rooks disappearing from the board. We'll do a quick count in a second. It's going to be level pawns once white's pass pawn here, the advanced pawn, disappears off the board. But it's about the quality of the pawns. Look at those black pawns on the edge of the board, doubled, weak. The white rook is now going for them. It's not just that. The white knight has such big potential once it starts to jump forward. White already has the only pass pawn on the board, the c pawn. It might later run. Alexei's in big, big trouble here. This could be a huge shock. Drozdowski has a great track record in Title Tuesdays. He's beaten me on occasion. But yeah, Sarana here will need to be super resourceful to save this game.
Kasper Drozdowski, he even has 4 points on the Champions Chess Tour standings. He has played all 4 game weeks, or all 5 game weeks now, this autumn split, and he scored many, many points. This wouldn't be a huge shock if he wins this game. And look how focused he is. Much better against Sarana. Is there anything our friend in the Dave Cave can do?
Well, he's trying. He's going on a king walk. Look at the black king. It's entered, but it's not really threatening much. He's trying to confuse Drozdowski with that maneuver. The black king getting to this square doesn't achieve anything at all, but it's the type of thing that could unbalance an opponent, provoke them into taking some crazy decisions, trying to go for a checkmate. Drozdowski, though, so one-track minded. Look at that, pushing pawns forward. He's trying to create a pass pawn, but look at this. The white rook suddenly trapped. Eval bar says black is done, black is busted, but white's rook has nowhere safe to go. Will it be a sacrifice? Can the white rook step across, give itself up for a bishop to create some pass pawns? Will the knight ride to the rescue? That is the big question. Alexei Sarana needs to start pushing his own pawns now, start creating some distractions of his own. Under 2 minutes, shaking his head. It's not looking good for black.
Sarana struggling here in round 4. Remember, it's best out of 11 rounds every single Tuesday. 5 minutes on the clock, no increment. We will see some players on a perfect score after round 4, most likely. But will it be Sarana? He has to do some magic on this board to make that happen. Right now, it's looking like Drozdovsky will be the one on 4 out of 4.
Yeah, there we go. Sarana finally presses the chaos button, but it's not going to work out in his favor. He's given up a pawn. He needed to do something before the white knight grabbed on the edge of the board. And it's now 2 versus 2 on the right half, 3 versus 2 on the left half of the board as Drozdovsky gets that endgame advantage. The problem is you're paralyzed here with black. You can't do much because the white rook is so strong. He gives a check. The white king retreats. He defends his pawn, Sarana, but now the white knight is coming. That knight has so many juicy squares to jump into. Watch out. There's a fork threatened. Sarana down 1 minute as well. Defends with his bishop, but this one is almost over now. The white pawn is marching. The white rook can chase the bishop. Sarana, he's only got one last trick. He's going to push his pawn forward and pray that he's able to create some counterplay. But there we go. A trade, and the hope is dying.
Looks like Drozdovsky will win this. Also looks like Hans Niemann with the black pieces in round 4 will take the win and go up to 4 out of 4. Niemann making his debut in the autumn split. We're definitely going to follow his games as he is climbing towards the top of the standings. But this one, Sarana, is getting closer to a win, and now he has less than a minute on the clock.
I mean, I can't say much apart from perfect endgame play.
Wow. Beautiful
Endgame technique by Drozdovsky so far. There's still one or two tricks left, but this white pawn is going to be a real thorn in black's side. The other pawn is going to really tie down the black rook. First, a trade is offered. Sarana says no, and look at this. Beautiful rook sacrifice, allowing the white rook to drop because white makes a new queen with check. Will then pick up the black rook. Sarana might be about to resign. He can try 1 or 2 last tricks here. Maybe he'll retreat his rook to guard the promotion square, but the white rook will follow. Block, and a new queen is about to enter this board. Drozdovsky is on the brink of winning. Sarana, it's over. No hope. This pawn is a runner. It's through. It's getting promoted. 20 seconds. Looks like he's about to resign. He gives one last check, a trick. Drozdovsky plays the right move. Alexei Sarana leans back in devastation. He's clicking that resign button. Any moment now, the white rook continues to chase the black rook. The white king is super safe. The black king is vulnerable to checks, however. This check would end the game. Nope, he takes the pawn instead, and Drozdovsky takes the win.
There it is. It's not a huge upset. Drozdovsky has a great track record in Title Tuesday, but he is an international master, and he wins it here against Grandmaster Sarana. 4 out of 4 for Drozdovsky. This one's still happening. It's a big one. Terry, who's we've been following a lot in the first 4 game weeks, and now he's up against Vincent Keimer, the top grandmaster from Germany. All right, the bar in the middle. What do you think about this one, David?
Oh, this is going to go down to the wire. This is going to be a massive time scramble. Vincent Keimer pondering what to do. He needs to move his king or block the check. There we go. It's 2 rooks versus a queen. So much easier to play with a queen when you have no time on the clock. But look at this. It is a blunder, apparently. Black needs to go for checkmate. The white king is stuck on the edge of the board. There's some huge traps against it. Maybe that white king is just doomed. Vincent Keimer's playing for the win. He's going for checkmate. The white knight is paralyzed here. Super quick moves. There's going to be a bunch of checks from behind. Vincent Keimer's losing control. Both sides down around 15 seconds. More checks. Vincent Keimer's going for the win. He's trying to get out, but the box has closed. Will we see the checks continue? Is this game going to end in a draw now? And there we go. Neither side happy.
Oh, they looked so calm in those dramatic final moves. It ends with a draw between International Master Terry and Grandmaster Keimer. Round 4 is rounding up, and we've seen a lot of top players end up with draws here. A lot of draws, I have to say. We have hardly seen draws so far in the first 5 game weeks of Title Tuesday today. And in this round, quite a lot of them. Hikaru Nakamura also ending up with a draw, but we still have many players, 15 players on that perfect 4 out of 4. Hans Niemann on top of the standings. We haven't seen him so far in the autumn split, and here he is. How good is Hans Niemann in Title Tuesdays, David?
I would say the changes, the format, the lack of increment really helps him. Hans Niemann is one of the most confident guys out there on and off the board. Hans Niemann is super sharp tactically, great positional feel, and very instinctive. So I think this new time format is pretty much suiting his whole skill set. It's been surprising not seeing him the first few weeks. Yes, he was playing Grand Swiss, but I thought we'd see him sooner in the event, but better late than never. And he's showing 4 out of 4. He's going to be a hard player to stop.
It's going to be fun to see what Hans Niemann can do today in Title Tuesday Game Week 5. Some other big names here on 4 out of 4. Max Odlo is there. Sina Movahed is there. Alexander Bortnik is there. But we still have many rounds to go. It's a little bit of a technical break now before the play resumes in a few minutes. But we're going to keep talking. So stay with us as we follow the Premier League of Chess.
Here we go.
Some draws there in round 4, but we've seen a lot of action. And of course, we're going to bring up today's action replay by our presenting partner, Lovable. And it was this one. This was a dramatic finish that we jumped into, David.
Yeah, Nepomniachtchi, World Championship challenger, twice winner of 2 candidates tournaments, one of the best players in the world, started this endgame in trouble. But the endgame technique by his opponent, the Polish Grandmaster Spa, was very, very impressive. A check from the front. This was the killer blow. The Black King tied down to its knight, had to sidestep. Whichever way it went would get checked yet again by the other white rook. And it's a bit of a pincer movement. The 2 white rooks cutting across the board. The Black Knight now undefended. A check first, very important detail, hitting the Black King. The Knight drops with a check. And here we see contrasting emotions already here. The Polish Grandmaster knowing that he was winning, knowing the underdog was about to take the scalp. This checkmate in the corner threatened, started to smile, started to laugh. Only one thing could stop the white rooks delivering checkmate. That's the black rook giving check, but that was blocked. And Nepo, no time, no pieces, ended up resigning. Fantastic result for the white side here, Spa. But Nepo, not quite at his best. Still warming up, maybe.
Exactly. And there it was. A beautiful power pose by Spar. A win that really meant something to him, beating Jan Nepomniachtchi, a former World Championship challenger who is stuck on 3 points. He has won his 3 other games, so definitely not over for Jan Nepomniachtchi. Still definitely possible to win Title Tuesday Game Week 4. That was today's action replay presented by Lovable. We love Lovable and we love Title Tuesdays and we love watching Magnus Carlsen play. So many questions. Where is Magnus? We're getting used to seeing him play Title Tuesday. Of course, if you haven't been on social media in the last hour, maybe you haven't heard news, but Magnus Carlsen became a father a couple of days ago. His wife Ella posted this some time ago. A picture of a sleeping Magnus with the baby. Magnus Carlsen is now a father and he's taking time off today to spend time with his beautiful new family. And I'm wondering, David, what will the baby's name be? We need some suggestions here. What would be a good name for baby Carlsen? We know it's a boy. What should the name be?
Tuesday Carlsen.
Well, I like it.
Titled Carlsen. I don't know, Kaya. We want our chat to get involved, maybe.
Exactly, yes. We want to hear you guys' suggestions, either if you're following us on chess.com YouTube, Twitch, or on Take YouTube or Twitch, wherever you are following us. Let us know if you have some name suggestions. I don't know if Ella and Magnus has chosen a name for the baby yet. And if not, well, maybe you guys can help out. Hikaru, the first name that pops up here. Odin is suggested. Hans is suggested. Probably not going to be that one. Give us some good name suggestions. What would you name your kid if it was a boy, David?
DJ, Dave Jr.
Oh, I like it.
Sorted.
How about if you were to name it after a chess personality, maybe a world champion or...
Oh, that is tough. There's too many good players out there, though. I don't want to pick sides. Probably won't be Vladimir. But, Gary Howell.
I like it.
Got a ring to it.
Yeah, I like it. Gary Howell would be named after one of the greatest players in history. We're getting ready for round 5, you guys. It's fast here in Title Tuesdays. Who will face each other in the next round? We see Alireza Firouzja is ready. Alexei Sarana is here in the Dave Cave streaming. Hans Niemann looking very focused. He is on top of the standings on a perfect score so far. Oh, and a smile on Hans Niemann's face. Getting ready for round 5.
Yeah, and it's such a strong field. 3 of those 4 players that we just saw there, they were in the Esports World Cup. I believe, Sarana actually and Niemann, they were trying to make it through the last chance qualifiers. It's just everyone wants to be there next year. It's just become already, after just one edition, one of the kind of highlights of the calendar for the players. And they loved Title Tuesday before, but now even more incentive.
Exactly. This is what it's all about. Every single week, scoring points on the Champions Chess Tour leader. The top 6 players will qualify for next summer's Esports World Cup. Round 5 is about to start. We see the matchups here. Hans Niemann is now up against Drozdowski. That's going to be a very cool matchup. Hikaru will have the white pieces against Galperin. We do have Alireza Firouzja against Terry. Liam Le against Jan Christoph Duda. That's another big one. But let's, for the first time in Title Tuesday Autumn Split, follow Hans Niemann making his debut today. And he's got the white pieces. He's on a perfect score. He's up against Drozdowski, who is also on a perfect score. And what are we seeing in the opening?
Yeah, we're seeing a very odd Sicilian here. It might not look like it came from a Sicilian defense, but essentially Hans Niemann has played the move b3 very early, something favored by Magnus, Hikaru, and other beasts. He's fianchettoed his bishop. After giving a sneaky check by the white queen, he's fianchettoed the other bishop as well. So white is going for the long-range power strategy, hyper-modern chess, as we sometimes call it, bishop skewering the board, and it's very tough for black to develop this flank. Black needs to get castled eventually. Hans Niemann chipping away at the center now. This b3 Sicilian offbeat, but very dangerous if the opponent doesn't know what they're doing. Computer likes white. Hans Niemann should be happy.
Hans Niemann has won Title Tuesday 9 times in history. He is extremely good in this format. And how would you describe his playing style, David?
Yeah, it's become more universal, Hans Niemann, when he first broke onto the scene, when he first became a bit of a Grandmaster Slayer as a strong IM himself. He was very tactical, very messy style. He loved the complications, loved the chaos. But he's proven he can grind it out. And in the Grand Swiss recently, he was playing all sorts of different positions very well. He came unstuck against Anish Giri in the final round in a very slow technical endgame. Maybe that's the one area he can still improve compared to some of the very elite. But in general, very few weaknesses, very universal, very confident, always trying to play on the front foot. And here he's transformed his advantage. Rather than a middle game edge, aggressive play, he's gone for an endgame, a pawn up. So very interesting from Hans Niemann, Mr. Adaptable. And here, he should be the favorite. He's now threatening a pawn. That would come with a fork, a knight landing on the square, a check. I'm expecting the black king to try and defend that little guy, that little foot soldier. And the position continues. Drozdowski has good compensation here because he has the bishop pair. So the pawn deficit is not the worst thing in the world.
Hans Niemann is an incredibly good online blitz player. He's rated as the 30th best player on chess.com. 3,150 is his current rating. I can see he's dropped 100 points though recently. Maybe a little bit of a tilt at some point, but he has the chance to fight his way back up the list today. Maybe winning Title Tuesday so far on a perfect score as Drozdowski castles his king.
Yeah, we've all been there. We've all had tilts and lost 100 points in a session. It's always harder to gain the points back than it is to lose them in the first place. Drozdovsky castling isn't because the black king needed to get safe. It's more because the black rooks needed to connect, and they were putting pressure on the pawn where it stood. Hans pushes it forward. Big threat. The black bishop could potentially get trapped if that pawn isn't captured now. But taking this pawn, allowing some trades, would also let the white bishop in to take an undefended pawn in black's camp. So here Hans Niemann is offering some simplifications. Drozdovsky doesn't take the pawn. He pins on the long diagonal instead. And it's still Hans Niemann with the small advantage, but Drozdovsky defending really well. Drozdovsky seems like an endgame specialist. The way he outmaneuvered Sarana, the way he's holding the balance here against Hans Niemann in a difficult position, very, very impressive. But it has cost him a bit of time. So Hans will take confidence from that and try to use his time advantage a bit later.
I keep looking at all these name suggestions that you guys are coming with for Magnus Carlsen's baby boy. Levi Carlsen, maybe Hans Carlsen is suggested many times. Ding Carlsen, some good suggestions. I kind of doubt though that that's what Magnus will end up with. Ivar Carlsen.
I've been told there's one name the baby will definitely not be called, and that is David, unfortunately. I tried. I checked. I've been campaigning for months already. I can confirm the baby is not called David Carlsen.
That would have been a good name. I don't understand that one. Well, probably also not Hans Niemann. There's been a big rivalry between Hans Niemann and Magnus Carlsen over the past, how many years is that now? 3 years? Yeah.
3 years.
But it's all calmed down, it seems like. They don't play each other, of course, that much, but they will often see each other in Title Tuesdays, of course. And Hans Niemann is back, and he's aiming to win it today. Had a great start, 4 out of 4 so far, but in this one, the bar is still in the middle, and they're almost equal on the clocks as well. How will this game end?
It's going to end in a draw, and barring any big time scrambles, big flagging sessions, it's almost a guarantee now. White is a pawn up, but look at this pawn. It is ugly. It's a set of doubled, isolated pawns here. Those 2 pawns do not outclass the 1 black pawn in front of them. This black pawn now is running down the board. It's going to act as a deflection for White's rook, and we'll see pawns disappear. This game is going to end in total equality. Not a good result necessarily for Hans Niemann playing an IM opponent, but he knows his opponent's bang on form, and he will try to push this now for a little while. In a classical game, this is drawn 100 times out of 100, but White's extra pawn does present some shelter for the White King, so Hans will try, even though it's going to be difficult, an uphill struggle to try and turn this into a win.
With the white pieces, Hans Niemann fighting to win his 5th game. Drozdovsky, though, the Polish international master, is on a roll today. He's on fire today. He is also on 4 out of 4, and he has more time on the clock. Hans Niemann is now ticking down. Is there any hope for the black player here to win this game, David?
Yeah, I think Drozdovsky's biggest advantage here is the clock. I don't think he's going to win on the board unless Hans takes some crazy risks. But he can get Hans down now to around the 1 minute mark, around the 30-second mark, and then decide to play on, not to just accept a draw. Hans has to be really careful. You can try to play for a win, but you cannot allow yourself to drop too low, because rook endgames are actually the hardest endgame to initiate trades. Rooks rarely kind of force each other to exchange. You can always run away. So the game can continue indefinitely, theoretically at least. Hans Niemann here down to the 1 minute 18 mark, trying to make some progress. The king has gone as far as it will go. He is attacking a pawn, but there are weaknesses of his own. The black rook is going to slide behind, attack these foot soldiers, or slide the other way. There we go. He attacks the f-pawn instead, and Hans, you can see it on his face almost. He doesn't really believe that he's going to win. He's just playing on because he can, because he's got an extra pawn. But rook endgames and the reputation that precedes them, that they're all drawn, unfortunately, it is a saying for a reason. And Drozdovsky is taking some risks, I should mention. He's allowed 1 pawn to drop. A check is the most likely move now, although the white king can also step forward. Drozdovsky's arguing that the black rook is going to start checking from behind, maybe taking some pawns. Should still be fine for black. Hans spending a lot of time.
Less than a minute now for Hans Niemann. keeps looking for that win. He really wants to win this game and take it to 5 out of 5. But according to our pundit, our expert here in the studio, it's looking hopeless to win this game.
Yeah, it's less hopeless than it was. That's all I'll say. It does feel like Drozdovsky's been so eager to race towards the draw that he's not done things as efficiently as he could. And now White is going to swing the rook across, threatening checkmate in the corner. 2-pawn advantage suddenly for Hans Niemann. Should still be a draw with best play. This is the infamous split pawn situation, F and H. It tends to be a draw with best play, but you need to be so accurate with black. I wouldn't be shocked to see the eval bar suddenly slide now. Hans Niemann just has to try and do it within 30 seconds. That's the tricky part. As Drozdovsky offers the repetition, he's attacking this pawn. If Hans retreats, there we go. 3 times and finally a draw.
A draw between two players that was on a perfect score. They both now go to 4.5 after 5 rounds. This one is still happening though in round 5. A big battle between Bortnik and Magzudlu. And time trouble is about to start here.
Wow, we jump in and Magzudlu's just sacrificed a rook for a bishop. So black is currently down the exchange. That means a rook for a knight. But the white king is super open. The black knight is very strong in the center. So good compensation for Magzudlu, especially with Bortnik down with no time. The white king needs to run into the corner. That's the only way to get to safety, the only way to start pre-moving. But a blunder apparently by Magzudlu. Now Bortnik with a big advantage. 11 seconds though. That's going to really hinder him here. A pawn drops. Watch out. Checkmate ideas in the air. Magzudlu looks so locked in, trying to find a way towards the white king. He gives a check. He's going to switch angle now. Give another check. He drops in with his knight instead. Wins back the material. 6 seconds for Bortnik. Black is a pawn up. He can trade queens now and play on forever. But no, he's not risking it. He attacks the bishop now. Bortnik, 5 seconds for white. Magzudlu has to go into flagging mode now. He's going to try and win this game on time. Winning the position as well. Maybe. But pawn's coming off the board now. 3 seconds for Bortnik. It's all about the clock. 2 seconds. He's down to 1 second now. Still too many pieces on this board. Pre-move central. Magzudlu offering that trade of queens. Bortnik is about to run out of time. And blunders galore, but it's all about the clock. 2 seconds for black. Pre-moves everywhere. There we go. Magzudlu takes the win.
Oh, he takes it on the clock, I assume, Magzudlu. Wow, that was time trouble, you guys. Magzudlu comes out winning after that against Alexander Bortnik. It's a perfect day so far for Magzudlu. 5 out of 5. Huge time trouble. He looks actually a little bit exhausted after that. What a finish to that game. Was it just about moving the pieces with that time trouble, David?
Yeah, it was about being clever. It's moving your own pieces, but also predicting the opponent's moves. Magzudlu did one great thing there as the clock ticked down. He forced the queens off, meaning he could never get checked. The opponent only had a dark squared bishop, so he just kept moving his king on light squares. He pre-moved everything, and Bortnik is one of the fastest players out there, but yeah, Magzudlu, just enough to get the job done there.
Wow, and that means Para Magzudlu takes first place. He's on a perfect score together with 6 players. Alexander Grischuk is there, Bakro is there, Salim Saleh is there, Mahadi is there, and Esipenko is there. So we still have a bunch of players on that perfect score. And round 6 just started. Alexander Grischuk, one of how would I describe him? One of the most notable players in the top of chess. And here he is with the white pieces against Bakro.
Yeah, a really interesting clash here. It's a kind of similar generation clash, I'm going to say. Grischuk has been one of the world elite for so long. Hashtag thug life for anyone who wants to search him on Google, on YouTube even. Grischuk is well known for his big quotes, his flamboyant personality, his time trouble. But Bakro is also famous as a child prodigy, former youngest grandmaster in the world when he became a GM at 14, I believe. And yeah, these two know each other extremely well. They've played countless times. It's a French defense, but one of the most fiery French defenses you could imagine, with a white pawn being very weak in the center, black having the bishop pair. But the downside here for Bakro is that he has 2 big weaknesses. These pawns do not protect a king that castles on that side, and they could be targets later in the game. The black king with a huge decision to make which side it wants to castle. Okay, it's not going left anymore. Grischuk tends to do very well in these types of positions, and Eval Bar favors him.
Alexander Grischuk is still one of the highest rated players in the world, number 64 currently before the new ranking lists come out tomorrow. He's played several Title Tuesdays here in the Autumn Split. It's a debut in the Autumn Split for Bakro, though. We have a big battle between two Grandmasters.
And yeah, back row, I'm so used to him being a 2700 player, super solid, nearly never losing. He's dropped a bit of rating recently, but he showed at the Grand Swiss and other big events. He's still a rock when he wants to be. Still very, very deep chess understanding. And here we go. Grischuk now advancing pawns to try and kick away this black knight, force it backwards. Back row, we see him streaming. Nice to see so many top Grandmasters streaming, actually.
Yeah.
He brings his queen out, eyeing up some weaknesses. Black's got to play on the dark squares. That's his best strategy here with the dark squared bishop. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Grischuk push that pawn even further forward. Maybe improve the white knight first, bring that piece in. There we go. That's the strategy he chooses. And yeah, looking like he's the one who understands this position a bit better than back row right now.
Already massively better, Alexander Grischuk, who's won Title Tuesday 6 times in history. He knows how to do it, and will today be the 7th time he wins Title Tuesday. He's got a fantastic chance. He's on 5 out of 5, and massively better here in round 6.
Okay, and back row retreating his knight to the back row. And there we see, you go back, I go forward, the white knight leaps in. That's going to be a huge piece now. Big, big threats, potentially even to take this bishop, force the black king to forego its castling rights. The black knight's come round to a different square, but I'm not sure it's a better square. It does feel like back row's lost the thread here slightly, not looking happy on the camera. He's now facing another white knight jumping into the center, a white rook lining up. He is totally stuck with his pieces. Grischuk just simply improving, simply bringing all of his pieces to the best possible squares before going for any action. Very instructive stuff from the Russian legend.
Etienne Bakro on the French team, born in 1983, fighting for his life in this game now with the black pieces. Is it hopeless, though?
It's getting there. I'm not going to say hopeless yet, because he's not material down back row, but any moment that Grischuk wants, he can take this bishop, force the black kings to step out of its hiding places here. The fact that he has no other useful moves than pushing a pawn in a complicated middle game, not a good sign for back row. I wouldn't be surprised to see Grischuk try to activate his queen. This is the one piece that's not on a good square right now. Maybe it's going to step up and across to this right side of the board, which is quite open for black. Not much pawn protection over there. And maybe we'll see the white queen use a different angle. It looks like the type of position where Magnus, Hikaru, they would move instantly. But Grischuk is known to think very deeply, use his time advantage. And I wish I'd said this. I wouldn't have been surprised either, I was going to say, if he just pushes a pawn, creates some space for his king, because black is totally stuck. There we go. The black rook does defend its bishop, so finally black is ready to castle. But even going that way is not going to save him.
This is game week 5. Hikaru Nakamura won game week 4. Not having the best day today, though. He's played 2 draws in a row. And now Galchenko is much better against him in round 6. It's a huge opportunity for a player like Grischuk to take the Title Tuesday win today, go up to 6 out of 6. He's massively better, and he's better also on the clock, sitting in the dark. Alexander Grischuk, would you be shocked to see a player like him win Title Tuesday?
I wouldn't be shocked at all, Grischuk. I played Freestyle Friday last week. He ended up winning it ahead of the likes of Hikaru. He was a point clear. He was very, very impressive. And Freestyle Friday, slightly different time format, but same idea, same concept. And he was just almost untouchable there. He's found a nice way around as well. Look at this big weakness for the black pieces, both knights, and the bishop staring down at it, trying to gang up. We see a trade therefore, but the black king's so open, back row in big trouble, Grischuk. He's got to line up those rooks. It's all about a rook lift now. Swing it and win it. In the near future, a black check here against the black king will decide this game. Etienne Bakro, he is doomed. Not much to do here. You can give up your queen, potentially for 1 rook, take another rook, but checkmate will come soon. Yeah, Grischuk, this is a masterclass. Like, when he's on fire, Grischuk, he's just another level. And all the top players know it. They need to fight him on the clock, because on the board, it can be tough.
He has less than 2 minutes now on the clock, but it's looking fantastic for Alexander Grischuk to go up to 6 out of 6. There are other players as well fighting for that perfect score as we speak. This is round 6 out of 11 in game week 5. And Bakro, it doesn't seem like he's got much hope here.
Nope, and there we go. His queen is even trapped. Look at this. Beautiful from Grischuk. Most of us were looking at the open black king. He sees the black queen lacking any escape squares. Bakro desperately trying to throw away pieces, trying to get some of White's pieces in return for the queen. He gets a rook and knight in exchange, but that is not enough clearly here. White is up material. White has the attack. Pawns are dropping. Bakro desperately trying to grab some of the white pawns too, but this is not going to save it. 10 seconds extra for Grischuk as well. He's just going to slide his rook across. He's going to defend everything. There we go. Pin, and he's soon going to win. That white rook will retreat. The white queen will get greedy, and this is just game over. Bakro, I think he will be resigning in just the next few moves as the queen lines up against the black king. This is just perfect play. I can't fault a single move by Grischuk in this round.
And he hasn't moved on his camera. He is so calm and composed. Alexander Grischuk massively better on the bar, and there it is. It's a win with the white pieces for the great Alexander Grischuk from Russia. With the white pieces, he takes this and he goes to 6 out of 6, a perfect score so far. Will anyone join him though on top of those standings? Magsudlu has the chance to do that, and so does Salem. They are now up against each other here in round 6. We're heading into some time trouble, both under the minute on the clock.
Wow, this position looks so beautiful for White, but you need the knockout punch. Magsudlu has sacrificed a piece. White is a knight down right now. A couple of pawns in return, but it's all about the attack. Can he go for the black king? And wow, he just grabs on the edge of the board. That looked like a very irrelevant pawn there, but still looking good for White. Black is so tied down. This knight, beautiful. The white rook's so menacing, creating so many threats potentially. The white bishop is soon going to start making its way back towards the other side of the board. Magsudlu in control, but he's spending too much time. He's suddenly 12 seconds down as he does play the most natural move, retreating his bishop. Salem is super quick. The UAE's top grandmaster for so many years now. Super speedy on the mouse. It's level on the clocks again. He needs to move. It is notably far, far more easy to attack than defend, as suddenly White's better again. Magsudlu, what's he going to do to win this game? Is he going to slide his bishop back, go for checkmate? There we go, big threat on the board. Oh, head and hands for Salem here. He's under so many threats as he desperately tries to improve his rook, chasing the white bishop. Rook's lining up. Oh, this one could go anyway. It's winning for White on the board, but still so complicated. Still so messy as there we go. Things changing.
Oh, yeah, get ready for the red numbers.
Every move, it's going red, black's clock. But here we go. It's a rook check at the top of the board. The black queen is about to drop off. It looks like Magsudlu's about to win with a flurry of checks here. That check wins a piece. 3 pawns up now for White. Magsudlu, he's got 5 seconds extra. Salem down to 2 seconds. Can he keep checking? 1 second for black. He gives one more check. He's running out of time. Magsudlu trades off the queens, wins the black queen. He's about to win this game. And there we go. Magsudlu takes the win.
It's a win. Another one for Magsudlu. He's on a perfect score. 6 out of 6. Did he win that on the board and on the clock?
Yeah, he was winning in the final position. It was never really in doubt, but Salem, yeah, it was the clock, I think, that held him back from making those good moves earlier that forced a couple of blunders.
What a massive game. That was entertainment, you guys. It ends up with a win for the great Magsudlu, who goes up to 6 points to join Alexander Grischuk and Andrei Esipenko, who is also on a perfect score. Salem Saleh stays on 5 points. But look at that. We do have the big names up there. Hans Niemann is on 5.5 after winning here in round 6. And I did see Hikaru as well. After 2 draws, he won in round 6, and he is now on 5 points. And we do see the matchups here for round 7. It's going to be Esipenko against Grischuk. 2 players on a perfect score. Andrei Esipenko, another one of those fantastic Title Tuesday players. Here we go.
Yeah, it is the Sicilian defense to start this game. Esipenko was once described as the next Grischuk, so this is going to be very interesting. A clash of generations, as we see the Sicilian Najdorf marked by this pawn push to a6. This is one of Grischuk's favorites in the repertoire of all of the top players in the world. But Esipenko, a very aggressive player, has beaten Magnus Carlsen in this opening before in a classical game. So can he do the same again today?
Esipenko, so much he can learn from the great Alexander Grischuk. They're both from Russia. When it comes to camera and lighting, though, I do feel like Grischuk could learn something from Esipenko. He is sitting in the dark, and he looks very mysterious, Alexander Grischuk. Kind of suits his personality, that mysterious look. Andrei Esipenko with the white pieces here. Who would you say is the favorite?
Oh, this is close. I'll say Grischuk, tiny favorite. Just because of his track record, just because of his consistency in the form he seems to be in online right now. But Esipenko, we saw at the Esports World Cup, can beat anyone. He knocked out Nepo there. And I think it's his type of position as well. I'm just looking at the clock. Grischuk's actually up on time, which is super rare to say as a commentator. So I'll say Grischuk, maybe. But early days in this game, of course.
Yeah. Esipenko loves Title Tuesday. He's played all of them so far in the autumn split, and he scored 9 points on the Champions Chess Tour leaderboards. He's currently inside the Esports World Cup in 5th place. One of the best players in this format, but he's never won. He's never won Title Tuesday. Today he has a huge chance to do that on that perfect score after 6 rounds. If we see a winner in this game, then that player will be on 7 out of 7. And right now, Esipenko is better on the bar.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, he was only pipped by Sarana in Gameweek 1 on tiebreaks. So very close.
Yeah.
And yeah, Esipenko, he's better on the bar here because White has full control over the board. This juicy outpost is often a characteristic of the Sicilian Najdorf, so that one is normal. But also on the other side, White is able to clamp down on the black pawns, meaning Black can never really step forward. Black has been deprived of pawn breaks, therefore Black is suffering slightly. You can still play with pieces, you can still line up the rooks on semi-open files, you can still get those orders of business done, but it's very difficult to find a plan long-term. So for now, it looks like easy moves for Grischuk, but there will come a time when he slows down, and that's when Esipenko will try to pounce. He'll improve his knight potentially, try to leap that one forward, maybe he'll double up rooks in the center. But early days here, Esipenko with a small opening advantage.
We do have 422 players in game week 5. Huge number. We do both have the lower rated players. We have the super GMs. Everyone is here. We have already seen some underdogs. But now it's all about these top guys. Who will win Title Tuesday game week 5? Andrei Esipenko and Alexander Grischuk both have a massive chance today, as Magnus Carlsen is not playing, announcing the birth of his baby boy. And Hikaru Nakamura has played 2 draws so far. He is on 5 points heading into round 7.
And there we go, the white knight retreats, echoing what the black pieces have been doing in recent moves. It's all about the retreats, it's all about the maneuvers. As predicted, both sides slowing down. Top players, they often calculate so quickly. They can calculate 10 move variations if everything is forcing within a few seconds. But when it comes to maneuvering, planning, that's what really causes a time crunch. Now the white bishop is going to stand on a beautiful diagonal in the near future, staring down the black king. That's going to be very uncomfortable for Grischuk long term. Maybe we'll see the black knights trying to jump in return. It's a very difficult position, but it definitely feels like neither side wants to commit to any major developments yet. No real exchanges being asked. Maybe we'll see the white knight jump in if he wants to change the pace of this game, Esipenko. He's a bit behind on the clock. There we go. But massively better.
Blunder!
Oh, he's missed this move. Pawn to e4, pushing that pawn forward would have actually won a piece for Alexander Grischuk, as the white bishop would have been deflected away from the defense of its knight. I missed it too. He played the most natural move. Grischuk trusted him, but Esipenko did blunder for 1 move, but it was missed. And suddenly it's back to better for white. Suddenly it's as if nothing happened after all.
And these guys don't seem to have a clue that there was a huge happening on the board. They look calm. As cucumbers keep playing, Esipenko is better on the bar. They still have more than 2 minutes both on the clock. Esipenko, He peaked back in 2022, David. When we talk about FIDE's standard rating, he was then over 2,700 and then gone a little bit down since that. Do you think we've seen the peak of Andrei Esipenko, or does he have a bright, bright future?
Yeah, I think he's got a very bright future, Esipenko. Sometimes it just takes a few years to stabilize at a certain level. He's there or thereabouts. He's just below the elite. He can still beat them in odd games here or there. 21, 22, that's when he beat Magnus a couple of times in classical games. So he can do it. But he has been reforming his style. He was very, very positional. He was playing lots of Karo Khans, lots of very quiet openings. Then he became more aggressive. And sometimes in order to add that weapon to your arsenal, you just need to take a few hits. You need to test your own boundaries. And he's still young enough, still early 20s. And yeah, he'll get there, I'm very sure. Magnus himself has said, Esipenko of the young generation, before this this latest young generation, he was the one that Magnus had an eye on.
Yeah, and he is still only 23 years old. I bet we have something to look forward to when we follow Esipenko, both in over-the-board classical chess and, of course, in Title Tuesdays. He's never won Title Tuesday. Today is a golden opportunity, especially if he wins this against Alexander Grischuk and goes to 7 out of 7. What do you think right now will be the result in this game?
Yeah, it does feel like Esipenko is still better. He's a pawn up, after all. That is the B pawn. It's either a passed pawn or an isolated pawn, depending on whether you're a half kind of glass half full type of player. Grischuk there reacting, we saw him on the camera, because he realizes he could have actually taken this pawn last move. Very mysterious. He would have been attacking this bishop, so there were no ghosts to fear, but instead he just keeps his own pawn defended. And there we go. Optimistic player, Esipenko keeps his pawn, and with the Black Knight retreating, maybe he's going to step up his rook to the 7th rank. Still very much advantage white, as we see on the eval bar, but the clock balances that out. They say a pawn is worth a minute in blitz chess when there's no increment. He's up a pawn, but he's down 45 seconds. And there we go, the bar's sliding back. Anything could still happen.
Hans Niemann has won in round 7. He is now on 6.5 points and currently on top of the standings. But of course, a winner in this game will mean that player takes the lead. 1 minute now on the clock for Esipenko. And Alexander Grischuk, he is fierce when it comes to time on the clock.
Yeah, that's the good thing about being a time trouble addict. You learn how to handle being low on time. Your opponents often aren't as experienced in those situations. White does land a check on the back rank, but that did nothing. The Black King simply sidesteps. No more checks against the Black King. And be careful, the White Bishop is hanging. The Black Rook could be the one delivering the checks in the near future. And wow, Esipenko, has he just found a clever way to force a draw? He's threatening a check now with his queen. He's giving up his bishop, but if he delivers a check, maybe we'll see some type of repetition. That is a very, very sneaky move. This check needs to be stopped. Grischuk might be forced to retreat his own rook now just to guard that line. Maybe the Black Queen will do some dancing as well to fend off the threats. She can centralize, for example, to defend her knight. Free up a pawn to block. There we go. Beautiful centralization from Grischuk. 40 seconds against just under a minute. Esipenko brings his bishop forward, but a blunder it looks like. As there we see the bar slide. Grischuk now has a winning advantage. How does he get the job done? Is it a check? Does he try to force the White King to a worse square? Does he at some point trade queens? You can push your pawn forward at the right moment as well. He checks with the queen in the corner. He's found it, Alexander Grischuk. If the king moves, he's going to play rook takes pawn. And if that queen captures, there's going to be a devastating knight fork, knight check. Esipenko slowed down. He realizes the danger. It's a trio of pieces. That's the magic number, 3 pieces. Queen, rook, knight. There we go. Rook sacrifice. The queen could not take you to a knight check. And this is now winning for Grischuk. He can even swap the queens at the right moment if he wants to. Esipenko disappears for a second. There we go. Queen's off the board. Back to level apparently, but Grischuk still with a 12, 15 second advantage. Another check. The Black Knight is coming. The White King is caught in the kill zone. And there we go. Esipenko blunders his rook. Backward knight move. Grischuk stands up. He knows he's about to win. Game's still ongoing, but he does take the full point.
Wow, look at Alexander Grischuk. He stands up. He loves this win against his fellow, much younger Russian. With the black pieces, Alexander Grischuk takes it again. 7 out of 7 for the 42-year-old. He's on fire today, and he is the player to beat. He now takes sole lead in Title Tuesday, Game Week 5. Look at that. Alexander Grischuk on 7 out of 7. In second place right now is Hans Niemann. Together with Duda, he has 6.5 points. And then a bunch of players on 6 points. Hikaru Nakamura is one of those players. Still hope for the 6 points players to win Title Tuesday today. This is not over.
Definitely not over. That's a huge chasing pack. It looks like we'll get Grischuk against either Duda or Niemann. Those two players are definitely capable of taking him down, and suddenly everyone else will jump up. Yeah, this is a real race, and that's the beauty of these big Swiss Open tournaments. Nothing's guaranteed. Hikaru definitely still in the mix. He's on a roll now, trying to catch up.
Definitely. Wow, that was massively impressive by Alexander Grischuk. What is it about him? He's 42 years old, and he keeps messing with these kids.
Experience, plus, it's permanent, right? And he's been there, he's done it all. He's played so many candidates tournaments, Grischuk. He's beaten all the best players in the world. Sometimes it just takes a bit of practice to get used to the time format. Sometimes it's kind of the online scenario that top players don't enjoy, but Grischuk, he's still young enough to get the jobs done. Still
100%.
So much experience to teach the new generation a thing or two.
Yeah, an inspiration to all of us. And here we have a young Christoph Duda against Alexander Grischuk in round 8. If we see a winner in that game, that will be the leader of the tournament. But look at the game below that. Hikaru against Niemann. Also a huge one. Let's hope we get to see both those games. Young Christoph Duda will have the white pieces in this big battle against Alexander Grischuk, who is on fire today. One thing is for sure, Duda does not want to end up in time trouble against Grischuk. He's just a monster when the clocks tick down.
Yeah, and in the meantime, this game was another Sicilian Najdorf. Grischuk winning with black in the previous game in a Najdorf. Although from shaky starts, he employs the same opening again. This time, it's a more positional approach. As we see Duda there with the yellow fashionable cap,
Ooh.
He is trying to occupy some squares that I'm going to highlight, not in yellow, but in green this time, as the white knights are going to support each other on outposts. A very colourful play, very colourful attire from Duda there.
Love it. It's fun. Let's get some colors up there. Young Christoph Duda has played great chess in Title Tuesday, the Autumn Split so far. He's featured in all 5 game weeks so far. Second place in Game Week 3, and he has 9 points on the Champions Chess Tour standings. Today he is fighting to win Title Tuesday. And Alexander Grischuk on 7 points is doing exactly the same. With a win here, Grischuk will still be on that perfect score. 8 out of 8, but that's going to be hard. Young Christoph Duda is a hard man to beat in Blitz online chess.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. And Grischuk, as opposed to the previous game where he always had a bit of a time buffer, he's actually lower on the clock now. And Duda setting a nasty trap. Knight takes pawn would be a huge blunder. This is a well-known pattern. Put it in your memory banks at home. The white queen would step up 1 square with a check, hitting the king and hitting the knight in the center. So this is a poisoned pawn. Duda setting a nasty, nasty trap. That's why Alexander Grischuk perked up, sat up, and will now be looking for alternatives. Most likely he'll be sliding his rook across, maybe bringing out his bishop. There we go with a check, gaining time. Now the black king will castle and fight on. Opposite side castling, that's always the perfect ingredient for a chaotic middle game.
Meanwhile, Hikaru is playing against Hans Niemann in round 8. The bar is in the middle, saying balanced. It's a big battle between these two Americans, who also have become somewhat of rivals in the last few years. Two of the best American players. Hikaru, of course, the best on the paper, both in Title Tuesdays and as world number 2. The new ranking list is coming out tomorrow. Don't expect huge changes there, but we do know one thing. Young Faustino Oro will hit 2,500 on the official rating list and then become the youngest player ever at 11 years old to reach 2,500.
Yeah, very, very impressive. Let us know in the chat what you were doing at the age of 11. Were you 2,500 in FIDE classical ratings? He is destined for the very, very top, the Messi of chess. And here we see a position that's getting messier by the second, actually. Look at this, a pawn sacrifice. It was a knight sacrifice from Grischuk, but if that knight were captured, the black pawn would have stepped forward with a fork. So instead, we see a queen trade. And who is the happier of the players about this? It is a pawn up temporarily for Duda. This is a very dangerous pass pawn potentially, but it could also just drop off the board in the near future. Could fall prey to the black rook, as maybe we'll see a knight trade offer first from Alexander Grischuk. The white king very, very open. That is black's compensation. This is getting very sharp now, but Grischuk has 1 minute less. This is the most danger he's been in all tournaments so far. Round 8 is the game before the final break of the day, so this could be crucial. Duda weighing up what to do. Will he trade knights? I think that's the most likely. Will he instead maybe shuffle his king into the corner? One thing not to do, to take this pawn, as you will walk into a nasty, nasty pin, and after a capture, you walk into a knight fork. Duda burning some of that time advantage.
The chat is yelling, show us Hikaru, show us Hans. We want to see Hikaru versus Hans. And we are, of course, going to listen to you guys. We're going to keep an eye on this game as well, but let's jump over to Hikaru Nakamura versus Hans Niemann, both fighting to win Title Tuesday Game Week 5. We jump into a big smile on Hikaru's face. He has the white pieces, less than 2 minutes on the clock. Big, big rivalry. Hans is singing, celebrating. What's happening here?
He's singing happy birthday to little baby Carlsen.
Yeah.
But Hans Niemann is very happy, and that's because he has a beast of a bishop in the center of the board. He also has a very powerful pawn. It should be level according to the eval bar. Ultimately, this endgame should fizzle out, but it could go in any direction still. Hikaru has a very strong pawn of his own, just 2 squares away from touchdown. Black's B pawn blocked, and Hans needs to decide, does he move his rook out of the way, offer a trade? Does he retreat his rook? A bit safer, potentially. And this one, Hans had a 1.5 minute advantage when we jumped in, hence the singing, but he's singing no longer. Hikaru looks locked in, focused, and Hans shaking his head suddenly as he knows his winning chances might start to disappear if this bishop trade happens. Bishop's disappearing off the board. Hikaru will bring his rook across, and whoa, has there been a blunder by Hans Niemann suddenly? Oh, the eval bar slid for a second, recorrected itself. Maybe there was something even stronger for Hikaru, but still good for white. He can flick in and advance with his pawn here. Instead, he trades off those rooks. Now he's going to slide his own rook across in the near future. This one, he's going to go forward with his bishop. Oh, this is not going to give Hikaru an advantage. He panicked there slightly, not realizing he was better. He could have also stepped forward with his pawn in the center, lined up his bishop on the long diagonal, but Hikaru reluctant to take risk. This is now very, very level. Hans Niemann can take a pawn, but his own pawn in the center will not last much longer. A draw, very likely.
How big of a problem is the clock, though, for Hikaru with only 1.5 minutes left?
I think that's maybe the biggest chance for Hans Niemann to win this game. Maybe he'll take this pawn and try to take some risk. There we go, in order to try and win. But Hikaru gives a check, gives a pin, and will now drop back with his rook. Nope, he steps forward with a pawn. Hikaru has sped up. Hikaru rarely gets flagged, no matter how low he looks. So 30-second difference between them might not be the decisive factor, as Hans is back to singing, it looked like. No, he's retreating his knight instead. The knight is hit. Okay, he actually counterattacks against the bishop. This is a dead drawn endgame. Rook and 3 pawns against rook and 3 pawns. Will they try and flag each other, or is there too much mutual respect between the pair?
2 Americans fighting here in Game Week 5 of Title Tuesday. They both have a chance to win this week's Title Tuesday. Hikaru Nakamura is shaking his head. He is not super happy, but our expert here in the studio is saying probably half a point for both of them here in round 8, meaning they still have a chance with 11 rounds to win Title Tuesday Game Week 5.
And there we go, more pawns disappearing. It's rook and 2 versus rook and 2 this time. Surely we'll see a draw now. It would be a shock to see anything else as the players start repeating the position. Rook and king doing a dance, and it is a draw between these 2 legends.
Hikaru does not look happy. Hans Niemann, however, looks kind of happy. A little chill, chatting out there. We're jumping back to this one. Of course, remember, Alexander Grischuk on a perfect score so far. If he wins this, he will be on 8 out of 8. But Duda has a chance to go to 7.5. What are we seeing?
Well, we're seeing a position that's going to be almost impossible for Grischuk to win. Ooh. White is a pawn up, it's opposite color bishops, but most importantly, there are still rooks on this board. White also has a very powerful A pawn that will start running. There we go, supported by the white rook now. He even gives up a pawn, Duda, in order to propel that one forward. Now a rook trade might even help white if the king can advance far enough up the board. This is going to be torture to defend. Grischuk's going to have to run with his king in the near future, run with it forward, and try to create some nuisance, some counterplay. 1 minute against 30 seconds, though, it's going to be an uphill struggle. As the black rook shifts, the black bishop will replace it as the blockader, first attacking the white rook. And the position's improving. Duda slowed down. That is a problem for the Polish Grandmaster. Grischuk is going to start pre-moving. He's going to start running forward with his king. Easy plan for black. What to do with white? You've got to move, Duda. He froze there. 10-second differential between them. The king is coming. Here we go. It's a race. 40 seconds against 30 seconds now. Duda doesn't look happy. He's slowed down so much. He needs to speed up. He's trying to use his rook now to force a trade. Okay, he goes behind instead. He's going to start delivering some checks from behind, cutting the black king off. But now the h-pawn is going to be a real force to reckon with. 23 seconds for Grischuk, but he's got such an easy plan. I said no win for black, but this is definitely possible now. It's a 3-result game. Duda's below on the clock for the first time since we jumped in. He's got to be careful here not to lose the thread of the game. Grischuk's offering a draw. Will we see the position repeat itself? The rook and king dancing. And Duda does go for the draw. He bails out. Neither side happy.
Ooh, it ends up with the draw. This top battle. We're not going to see a perfect 11 out of 11 score today. It ends here for Alexander Grischuk. He's now on 7.5. He will be in the lead, though, in Title Tuesday after 8 rounds. Jan Christoph Duda goes to 7 points. He joins Hans Niemann. Jan Nepomniachtchi now also on 7 points. Esipenko on 7 points. And Shugirov on 7 points. Hikaru, one of 4 players, on 6.5. Okay, we had another player. Hawen joined us on 7 points. All right. Who will win Title Tuesday, Game Week 5, David?
It's so tough.
Yeah.
I know I won't win it. I do feel it will be one of the players on 7 or Grischuk. I think 6.5 is going to be difficult now. Not only does the likes of Hikaru have to leapfrog Grischuk, who's got a great tiebreak, but they'll need to leapfrog the whole pack on 7. So I'm going to say one of the top 8 is going to win guaranteed with 3 rounds remaining now as we enter the final break.
Exactly. Huge results happening, you guys. We've seen more draws today than, I don't have the stats for that, but I just have a feeling that there are more draws today. Is that a sign that players are getting more used to now, the 5+0 time format?
Yeah, I think you're right there, Kaya. Like we see on the left side now with all the results, that's 5 draws on the top. 15, 20 boards there, and that's a pretty high ratio for no increment chess.
Yeah.
A lot of those draws are because of very high quality play. That means they're getting used to the time format, but also because players are not afraid to flag their opponents. We've seen it in the past. You might only have a king left, but if you kind of get your opponents to clock to 0, it's a draw. And a lot of players have been making use of that. So definitely, I think it's the fact that we're now in week 5. The players are pretty chilled. They're pretty used to it now. That's why the draws are recurring. Draws are a natural part of chess. But I'm not sure we'll see too many more for the remaining rounds.
Yeah. Whew. All right. That was round 8, you guys. A total of 11 rounds. And 4 more minutes until round 9 starts. Who will win Game Week 5?
Here we go.
Let's take a look at another action replay. One of the highlights from the past 4 rounds that we've seen. And I'm not sure which game it is. I will be surprised. Ooh, it feels like ages ago. Round 6 between Magzudlo and Zalem Zaler. This was dramatic.
This was crazy. It was mostly settled on the board, but the clock, keep an eye out for those 2 clocks turning red a bit later, because Magzudlo starts this position down a piece, but with a huge attack. And an extra few seconds on the clock. It's Iran versus the UAE here. as we see sacrifices, the white knight jumping forward. Not necessarily the best ideas. We see the bar drop, but Salem missing an opportunity, forced onto the back foot now, gets hit by tactics. A bishop trade, a rook check at the top of the board, forcing rooks off, and this check by the white queen, the key. Suddenly the black king is forced to commit, or the block happens, and there we go. Pieces drop off the board. It's 3 pawns extra for white. 8 seconds versus 4 seconds. Salem starts pre-moving like a beast. Starts activating the clock so quickly, down to 1 second. Still staying at 1 second for ages, but Magsulu, with that check, wins the black queen. And ultimately, with a few more moves, a quick flurry, gets the job done. So close, but good enough. Very impressive speed by Magsulu.
Very impressive with his, I think it's a Bayern Munich shirt he's wearing there. Maybe he's a fan of that Bundesliga team, and great win for him in that round. He's on 6 points though. He's got 2 losses in a row. Is that like the start of what we call tilts?
Yeah, unfortunately for Magsulu, he's that type of player. He wins 7 games in a row sometimes, but he can also lose 2 or 3. We saw it in the Grand Swiss. He was leading the first half of that tournament, and then he collapsed in the second half, lost several games in a row, and it's part of his strengths, but part of his maybe downside as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's Title Tuesdays for you guys. Happening every Tuesday. We hope you guys are enjoying watching from wherever you are and however you're watching them. I know there is a watch party happening today at the Norwegian chess pub, The Good Night, centered in the middle of Oslo. We've been there many, many times, and they have Title Tuesday up on the screens. Hey, everyone. Hey, everyone at The Good Night. Look at that. So many people on a Tuesday evening. Here they are watching an earlier round with Niemann. Such a cozy place.
Yeah, one of my favorite places in the world. Has played a big role in kind of my life ever since I came to Norway. The Good Night, spent many a good time there. And nice to see people chilling, hanging out, playing chess between themselves, but also having us in the background. They can watch and play chess, win-win.
Exactly. And it is a dream, right? For chess to become one of those pub sports. Something that you can actually go to, not only a chess pub, but maybe just your regular sports pub to watch on Tuesdays.
Exactly. The dream is that you have chess on in the background and you can just look and you understand what's happening. You see the score, you know who your favorite players are. And yeah, I'm hoping that we keep improving that and it keeps growing. It's getting popular in a lot of countries now.
Exactly. And that's exactly what we did, you guys. We just messaged the owner of the Good Night and we say, hey, can you put up Title Tuesday on the screens and have a watch party? And they were like, yeah, of course. So I hope that's an inspiration to everyone at home. If you do have a pub in your neighborhood, whether it's a chess pub or a sports pub, why don't you just ask the manager, hey, can we put chess up on Tuesdays and have watch parties and gather people to actually watch chess together? You know, it's perfect in Europe, of course, where it's usually after work on Tuesdays. India, Asia as well, late night primetime entertainment. I do understand it's more difficult on the American continent, but how about breakfast, coffee and chess? How about lunch break with your colleagues to watch Title Tuesday? Just an idea. It's an inspiration for you guys anyways. We're getting ready for round 9. Only 3 more rounds to go before we name a winner of Game Week 5. Hans Niemann has a huge chance to take it today. He's on 7 points and we're getting ready for more action.
This is a blunder because look at this. Hikaru is in. He's breaking through on the first rank. Jan Nepomniachtchi on his camera there looks devastated. Game over. The clock's turning red. 2 seconds for white now. He's trying to trick Faruja, but no. There we go. It is a draw. 1 second left though for Slokin at the end. But look at this. It is a blunder apparently. Black needs to go for checkmate. The white king is stuck on the edge of the board. There's some huge traps against it. And there we go. Neither side happy. Bortnik is about to run out of time. And blunders galore, but it's all about the clock. 2 seconds for black. Pre-moves everywhere. There we go. Magsulu takes the win.
I think I can guarantee we're going to see more of those red numbers when it's heating up now with round 9. It has started some big battle. It's Grischuk against Nepo. Nepo in shared second place with 7 points. Grischuk is in sole lead with 7.5. And this is the game that we're going to follow here in the start of round 9. Grischuk with the white pieces. Jan Nepomniachtchi, they're both from Russia. They must know each other so well, these two.
Yep, they've been on the same national team for so many years now, training camps together, and I believe there's a lot of mutual respect. I don't remember kind of this scoreline between them in the head-to-head being so one-sided. I think a lot of draws along the way because they're so evenly balanced. And Nepo showing a lot of respect to Grischuk. I should mention with his opening choice, he played the Berlin defense. Fair play to Grischuk. He did not go for any drawing lines, despite the fact he's in the lead in this tournament, and he has a great tiebreak. If he levels, if he kind of gets the same score as some of his rivals at the top by the end of round 11, most likely he'll win on those tiebreaks. But he wants a full fight. He does not go for the Berlin draw, keeps pieces on the board, trades a bishop for knight, and this is what we're left with. This knight is attacked, there retreats. It's going to relocate to the other side of the board to keep the white king nice and safe. The center is going to explode. And we'll await to see who that favors. At the moment, the eval bar says better for white, probably because of his active knights.
They are as equal as can be in Title Tuesday history. Both have won it 6 times, both fighting today to win it for a 7th time. Jan Nepomniachtchi is making his debut in the autumn split. We haven't seen him in the first 4 game weeks, but he's finally back. He is one of those players that we really want to see play Title Tuesdays. A format that really fits him. He's described by Magnus Carlsen as maybe the biggest genius in the top of chess. So little time, no issue for Nepo.
Yeah, and he's super quick as well, trusts himself. When they were young, Magnus, Nepo was probably, you could argue, one of the most naturally talented players, at least on a par with Magnus. He understood things, he was winning all these medals at youth events. And then it took a while for him to get to the 2,700 mark, to break into the top 10. It was only in his mid-20s that he really kind of got there, put all of his tools together. But yeah, he's been super consistent ever since. He's, again, changed his style. He used to be very dynamic, very aggressive. Now it's more positional, very safe. He knows when to pull the brake and play a bit more solid. He's danced around with his queen, allowing the white pawns forward now, but he's hoping that the black bishop pair is going to give him good long-term chances in this position, as I'm expecting Grischuk to finally bring his knight over. There's the temptation of a pawn, but I think this would come with too much risk. Grabbing this pawn allows the black rook onto an open line that would stare down at the white king. This pawn also threatened in the center, so you don't want to rush here, Grischuk. Unless you're talking about the clock, there you need to rush because he's down a bit of time.
Jan Nepomniachtchi is, of course, the reigning world blitz champion. He shared the title with Magnus Carlsen. Very controversial stuff happening in New York on New Year's Eve. Alexander Grischuk, he is a 3-time world blitz champion. Blitz is these two guys' speciality.
Yeah, classical, of course, they're very strong, but blitz, they really, really enjoy. A lot of the training camps, actually, they kind of revolve around blitz sessions. You learn a new opening, you study it together, then you play blitz against each other. It's a lot of blitz, and that really pays off, that practice. Grischuk, who won those 3 titles, World Blitz titles, years ago already, so he's always been a good blitz player. As Nepo finally getting that world title that had eluded him for so many years. As, okay, the bishop pair coming off the board, I think it's going to help Grischuk. Normally when bishops are paired up, you want to remove one of them. Knight versus bishop, you have much more maneuvering room there. This black bishop now can never avoid a trade. And the only question is whether Grischuk can land his knight into this square to totally block up the left side of the board, or whether he's going to focus on winning on the king side, going for checkmate. We saw Nepo smile. I don't think it was because of his position, which is getting a bit more dubious. I think it's just because he knows he's got more time on the clock. He's got so much more time than Grischuk. That could be decisive later in this game.
Some other big matchups happening in round 9. Alireza Firouzja is playing against Niemann. Bar is saying balanced so far. We have Pranesh against Hikaru. Hikaru now massively better with the black pieces, fighting to win Title Tuesday for the 2nd Tuesday in a row. Jan-Christoph Duda is up against Theodoro. He's better on the bar, and Hans Niemann balanced with the white pieces against Hauen.
Ooh, this position was looking balanced, but suddenly, big decision by Nepo. He sacrificed a pawn. A lot of you at home might be wondering, why did he just give away a pawn and connect white's pawn chain? It's because he creates a real pass pawn of his own. Look at this one. The black pawn, maybe even teaming up with a bishop, stepping forward to this square, is going to cage a white rook. The pawn and bishop are going to be worth a rook, guaranteed. It's just about whether black has any other weighs in. Maybe the black rook is going to line up on the third rank against the white queen. Very ambitious from Nepo, I'm going to say. He's down a pawn now, but he's created so many long-term chances that I think in practical terms it was a good decision. 1 minute 44 against 2 minutes 30. Watch out, there was a rook takes bishop threat. The white queen had to jump off the third rank, and this game is heating up. The black rooks are going to line up with their pawn there. Anything could happen. This is the type of position where the bar is going to swing one way or the other a bit later.
Alexander Grischuk is in sole lead heading into round 9 with his 7.5 points. A win here will take him a lot closer to winning game week 5. A win for Jan Nepomniachtchi means anything can happen. So many players still has the chance to take game week 5, take all 10 points on the Champions Chess Tour standings. And glory, of course, in winning each single title Tuesday.
Yeah, and you could argue the stakes are higher due to that fact for Nepo here rather than Grischuk. A Grischuk draw, he'll still be in joint first. A Nepo draw, he'll need to win his last 2 rounds, most likely. So he is at a crossroads now. Bishop takes pawn, I was going to say, was one option, but he had to let go of his beautiful passed A pawn. We'll see a trade of rooks now, most likely. And Grischuk still a pawn up with opposite color bishops. This should be level. This should be a draw. Because black has got such a good blockade on light squares. White has the perfect blockade on dark squares. Those factors should cancel each other out. But the clock, but the tournament situation, there's always going to be a chance that someone tries to risk it a bit later.
We still see 2 queens on this board. Is there a lot of action left in this game?
Especially while the queens remain. If you take the queens off, it's almost a guaranteed draw. The white bishop can never be touched. That one will defend all of its pawns. White will never be in risk. Black will put a bishop on this square to blockade. If the queens disappear, also no risk. So keeping the queens on is key for anyone who wants to win this game. But the white queen is far away, so Nepo reminds Grischuk here that his queen is off sidelined. He's 2 pawns down, but he's trying to create counterplay on the second rank. This is very creative from Nepo. Maybe the white king will stick its head out now to defend its bishop. The one move you don't want to play is to move the bishop out of the way. There would have been checkmating ideas on the light squares. Nepo should be able to get the draw here. He's got sufficient counterplay. He's going to take a pawn, but still an uphill struggle. Down to 1 minute each. The race is on. The bishop now blockades the white pawn. Won't step forward. Will we see a queen dance? Will we see a queen trade? Nepo's got the perfect blockade now. He's going to drop his queen back. This is a fortress for Nepo. It looks like the queens will come off. This game should end peacefully. But Nepo doesn't want the queen trade. Maybe he's the player playing for the win here. He took a look at the clocks there. You could see him on the camera. But ultimately, it's still balanced.
47 seconds for Alexander Grischuk with the white pieces. They're equal on the clocks, these 2 guys. So hard to beat, both of them. Will we see red numbers and drama, or will they just have a peaceful draw?
I just feel there's drama. Like 9 times out of 10, this should be a peaceful draw now. The queen should come off, and it should just be an opposite color bishop endgame with no winning chances. But Nepo's been taking some risks. I think he's going to repeat the position a couple of times. Then he's going to start stepping forward with his pawns. There we go. He blocks the checks. Black's... Oh, it's a big blunder by Grischuk. He's walked into a double attack, a check, and his bishop has just dropped off. A piece down. Nepo's going to win the game. Grischuk's thrown it all away.
Oh, look at Alexander Grischuk. Heartbreak. Jan Nepomniachtchi beats him with the black pieces. Massive, massive win for Jan to take this full point and to go up to 8 points. Ooh, that means Alexander Grischuk is stuck on 7.5. And Jan Nepomniachtchi will be in the lead. He is in the lead together with Jan Christoph Duda on 8 points. This one's still happening. Esipenko and Shugurov both have a chance to go up to 8 points. Red numbers on the clock.
Red numbers. It's all about the checks, though. Can the white king escape? The black queen keeps checking, and there we go. It is a draw. Esipenko leans back. He was winning most of this game. He had an extra knight, but he walked into a checking sequence there.
It's a draw in round 9 for Esipenko. He looks very disappointed with that result, but 9 seconds left on his clock. That is the result. He goes up to 7.5 points. Hans Niemann is now also on 8 points. This is round 9. Look at these results, you guys. Nepo, a win against Grischuk. Duda won his game. Niemann won his game. Hikaru won his game. Free-Rusha won his game. And look at the standings. We have Niemann, Duda, and Nepo all on 8 points with only 2 rounds left to be played. 4 players on 7.5. Nepo versus Niemann coming up in round 10. We also see Hikaru versus Duda. But Nepo, Niemann, both on 8 points. Huge battle coming up here between those two. Nepo will be flying high after that win against Grischuk. Niemann also coming from a win. Big one. Who's a favorite in that one?
Oh, I think Nepo maybe slightly because he has the white pieces and because he's coming off the high of defeating the seemingly invincible Alexander Grischuk. Just playing on, waiting for the blunder. He took it. But they're both so speedy. And this opening, it's the Nimzo Indian defense, but this branch of it with giving white the doubled pawns, parting with the bishops, it tends to lead to fire, especially when Hans Niemann's in a mood like that, when he's smiling, happy, playing free. Oh, this could decide it all, this game.
This could decide it all. A winner in this game will take the lead with 9 points. The third player on 8 points heading into round 10 is Jan Christoph Duda, who is now currently playing against Hikaru Nakamura. I will update you guys on everything that happens in that game. We will, of course, jump over when this one ends. But, we're going to see fire on this board. I have a feeling. And Nepo already better on the bar.
Yeah, this opening he's chosen as well, it rarely leads to a draw. So it either goes very well for white, who looks like he's got a beautiful pawn center right now, really nasty pin that black struggles to break long term, or it goes badly because white has this horrible weakness that can easily be plucked off the board by the black knight a bit later. So you're going to be down a pawn most likely long term with white. You just need the compensation. There we go. Hans Niemann going for this pawn now that's hard to defend. He's just going to be a pawn down, but Nepo's going to blow it open. This is going to get very, very complicated very soon.
What a game. What a game. And Hans Niemann is in such a good mood today. We see him singing, he's smiling, he's laughing. Can the players see each other on the cameras? Is it likely that they're looking at each other?
Ooh, interesting. I don't think they do. I don't think you see each other. It would be a nice twist if they did.
Yeah.
Add another flavor. But normally in Title Tuesday, you just play from home, you play on your computer, you kind of just have that screen and nothing else. And yeah, I guess they're both streaming though. Maybe that's why they're both in such a good mood today.
Yeah. Talking to their fans, we do love that players are still streaming Title Tuesday. That is a huge part of Title Tuesdays. You get up and close with the players here in our Take broadcast. You can get the bird's eye view. We follow the top, we follow the winners, we follow all the action. And there is a lot of action happening in this game. It's round 10 out of 11. Jan Nepomniachtchi making his debut in the autumn split. And so is Hans Niemann. And they both have a huge chance of winning it here. Already playing their first Title Tuesdays in the autumn split. Who will take it? The bar is in the middle. They're quite equal on the clock. Who would you say is the speediest, the best under time pressure of these two?
I would say Nepo's got more experience, but Nepo has blundered. Hans Niemann catching him in a nasty trick. There's a skewer on the third rank. That white bishop could not move because the rook behind it is pinned. And look at this. Hans Niemann flexing because he's landed a fork, hitting the queen, hitting the rook. If this knight is captured, his rook will capture the white rook. He's winning material. Nepo's blundered.
That is such a powerful reaction from Hans Niemann. Something you never see over the board, but in online chess, that's what it's like. He can already celebrate. He shows off. Is it already won though? And can still things happen?
Things can happen. There's still enough left, but Nepo looks just confused. Nepo doesn't even look angry that he blundered, that he walked into this tactic, which is really rare. The fact that Hans Niemann saw this so quickly, this almost unique pattern, and jumped, pounced, capitalized, punished Nepo, that is extremely impressive. And yeah, this, I'm not sure I've ever seen a skewer along the sixth rank like this. Rook eyeing up bishop with a rook behind it, with the queen helping out. And yeah, this one is, how do you even save it? There we go. Bishop takes knight was the answer. Nepo is now down a rook for bishop, but this was the key. He's still got a bank of pawns here, a mass of pawns that could advance. So it should be winning for black. Queen's off, game over. But Hans still with some work to do.
Hans Niemann is so confident. Jan Nepomniachtchi needs to find his beast. We know that beast is in there. He can find some amazing moves. This is not over, but Hans Niemann is massively better. What a game from the American. What a title Tuesday from the American. Still almost 3 minutes on the clock as well for Hans Niemann. Let's see what happens for Jan Nepomniachtchi. It's about keeping the queens on the board.
Yeah, Nepo needs the queens on. He needs to somehow organize an attack against the Black King. Black's King has no real defenders around it, no pieces at least. White has so many pawns in the center. You need to use those as the battering rams. Throw them forward in the near future. Try to open up lines. The pieces flood forward into those holes that are left behind, and maybe a chance of a counter-attack. But the race is on. You only have 3 or 4 moves with which to launch that counter as the black pawn is running. That pawn is a destined future queen, and he dodges any knight forks there, Hans Niemann. Very nice idea. The white queen sliding across, threatening checkmate, would be met by the black queen sliding across, blocking all avenues. Hans is going to swing. There we go. You cannot trade. That rook was attacked. It moves, and Hans Niemann knows all he needs to do is defend and push his pawn. Easy plan.
It's so entertaining that he is just showing off on the camera. He is celebrating. He is waving his hands in the air. He's digging some music. He is loving life right now. Hans Niemann, massively better against the great Jan Nepomniachtchi. This would be a huge win on the chase for Game Week 5 victory. In the meantime, Jan-Christoph Duda and Hikaru Nakamura, the bar is in the middle in their game. Duda also on 8 points heading into round 10. There's a game going on between Esipenko and Ali Reza Furusha. The bar is in the middle in that one as well, both on 7.5 points. But this one, massively better. Hans Niemann can go up to 9 points with a win here.
Yeah, he's winning. He's keeping control. That's the most important thing. And he's pushing the move back to Nepo every single time. Black's plan, as we mentioned, is easy. That pawn is advancing. And Nepo is the one with the burden of trying to create counterplay. He's trying to offer a trade of knights, trying to set up a trap. Knight takes knight now after a capture would allow this white pawn to step forward with a discovered check on the long diagonal, the white queen hitting the king. But that check can be blocked. The pawn stepping forward will see the black rook swing and checkmate in the air. The white queen had to slide and defend. Nepo looks furious. Black is winning. That pawn is pushing. The rook is hit. Are there any remaining tricks here? What can Hans Niemann do to bank this victory? He steps away with his rook. This pawn is going to deflect the white queen. A discovered check will be blocked on this diagonal now by the black pawn or the black rook. And this is simply winning. He's running out of pieces, Nepo here. He's running out of ideas and running out of time too. It's not a good recipe, not a good mixture there.
Jan-Christoph Duda is also running out of time against Hikaru Nakamura. Nakamura now much, much better in that game. And if Hikaru wins that, he will go to 8.5 points. Still in the run to win Title Tuesday Game Week 5. It's looking very good, though, for Hans Niemann.
Hans Niemann 1 square away now from making a second queen. Nepo winced there. He grimaced. Hand pump there. Fist pump from Hans Niemann. Is this resignation? No, another queen is born as Jan Nepomniachtchi threw away his pawn to temporarily check the black king. But the black king can step forward, can retreat now. And this is pure desperation. Almost anything wins now for Hans Niemann. You can just take this pawn off with your queen. That might just be the simplest. The white bishop does defend the promotion square, but it will not be able to hold the diagonal forever. Almost game over. Final few moves. Hans Niemann about to take down Jan Nepomniachtchi with the black pieces.
Wow. Jan Nepomniachtchi coming from that massive win against Alexander Grischuk straight into a battle with Hans Niemann. And here it's been a struggle almost the entire game. Hans Niemann is about to win against Jan Nepomniachtchi. Only 30 seconds left for Jan. And he looks ready to resign.
Fair play to him. He's been setting some last traps. He's keeping the game alive. The queen keeps an eye on this pawn. The bishop holds the diagonal, stopping both of black's pawns advancing. But that is the clincher. The black queen is now guaranteed to come forward and trade off. A queen trade, as we said earlier, will spell the end. That is game over. And Nepo blocking with his bishop. Desperation. A promotion now would win it. And there we go. Hans takes the point. Nepo smiling, but must be devastated inside.
Yeah, that's a painful loss for Jan Nepomniachtchi. but a fantastic win for Hans Niemann. Look at that. That means something to the American. He goes up to 9 points. He is in the lead with 1 round left to be played in game week 5. Hans Niemann is close to Tuesday Glory. He's close to winning game week 5. 1 more round to go. What was it about Hans in that game? Just so confident.
Yeah, great start for him. He played this really risky opening, Hans Niemann, but he made it work. That's what the top players do. You take risks and then you turn it in your favor. There was one blunder. So I think that one turning point early on where we saw Hans already smiling, fist pumping, that really tricky dance with the knights, the skewer, the pin, the fork, all of it combined. But after that, just the confidence to take it home.
Wow.
A lot of players would still have cracked against Nepo, even with the winning position, but he never let it slip.
Yeah.
Never in doubt.
Impressive confidence there. We see 2 Americans on the top of the standings. Hans Niemann with 9 points. Hikaru Nakamura, he won his game against Jan Christoph Duda. Impressive stuff on 8.5. Niemann, Hikaru already played, so we're not going to see that in the final round, round 11. I wonder who it will be. Duda, Nepo, Firuja, all now on 8 points. Niemann has not played Alireza, has he?
Not yet.
Okay. Are we hoping for that one?
Well, the colors match. We see again on the left-hand side there, Niemann just had black, Firuja just had white. So we
Yeah.
could see that pairing would be very logical, and that would be a nice way to end the tournament.
That would be a huge one. 1 round to go, you guys, in game week 5. Hans Niemann making his debut in the autumn split. He is in sole lead with 9 points. If he wins the final game, he will win Title Tuesday game week 5. If it's a draw or if he loses, well, then anything can still happen. Hikaru Nakamura, it wasn't looking good for him for a while there. As we see, yep, pairings are here. We will find that Niemann is facing Alireza Firuja. Huge one. Who is on paper the favorite here?
Oof, I think Hans, just because he can kind of play very safe. A draw is great for Hans, but a draw for Firuja will get him nothing.
Yeah.
So you can use that, especially with the white pieces. With white, you can play super solid. We see the Caracan defense. We see Hans Niemann playing a rock-solid variation, offering a trade of queens early if there had been a trade earlier. Firuja, he'll need to take massive risks here. So I think Hans, just the way he's playing.
It's going to be cool to see. Hans has the white pieces. He has it all in his own hands. A win means he wins Title Tuesday game week 5. Hikaru Nakamura is playing with the black pieces against Jan Nepomniachtchi. Hikaru with 8.5 points heading into round 11. He has chances of winning it.
Wow. Click, click, click. Hans Niemann clicking away, feeling the position. As he allows a bishop for knight trade, he kicks the bishop back. This is interesting. I love Alireza's opening choice, partly because I'm a bit biased towards the Caracan in general, but also because it keeps all the pieces on the board. And we saw against Nepo earlier, Hans won material, but he was also able to trade lots of pieces quickly to make his job easier. With all the pieces on the board, it's easier to go wrong for both sides. But it's high risk, high reward chess. As the black knight comes out, maximum pressure on the white center, which now starts to step forward. Hans Niemann is most likely going to try a pawn storm on the right flank on the king side later, if given the opportunity, if the black king goes that way. For now, a bit of a dilemma where to go with the white king, most likely long, most likely towards the queen side. But Hans not as quick as he was in the previous round. This could still lead to a really, really tense middle game.
Tell us, chat, who are you rooting for? Do you want Hans Niemann to win Title Tuesday game week 5? Are you hoping for Hikaru Nakamura? Maybe Alireza Firuja is your pick. Who would you like to see win Title Tuesday game week 5? Let us know in the chat.
Yeah, I've just taken a peek over at Jan Nepomniachtchi against Hikaru Nakamura over on board 2. Hikaru took a bit of a risk in the opening, but it's gone to a very balanced position. It's going to be very hard for Hikaru to win that game, which is good news for Hans Niemann. A draw might be enough, but it's a very difficult position to get a full hold over. No real grip for either side here as, wow, Firuja pushing pawns, met by a pawn push of his own. Pawn takes pawn will be met by the white knight jumping in to try and give a nasty check to the black king. The eval bar says, whoops, not a good idea for Hans Niemann, but very, very tempting in practical terms. Very scary for Alireza Firuja. If the black king runs and castles, then you're castling into the firing line. And the white pawns will step forward and blow open that flank. Farouja's going to have to defend like a lion in order to save this game. Hans Niemann dancing with the beat. He's in the flow as the Black Bishop drops back. Big mistake by Alireza Firouzja there. Allowing bishop takes pawn looks odd. Hans Niemann's not even going for that pawn. He doesn't care about material. He's going for the Black King. This is the type of position where he thrives. Pure chaos. As there we go. Wow, pushing even more pawns forward. Not double thinking, not double checking, not trying to get into the weeds of the position. Just trusting his instincts here. Hans Niemann. Pawn takes pawn will be met by the white bishop jumping into the position. That was not advisable. But look at the Black Bishop trapped now. That Black Bishop is the worst piece you will ever see. The Black King cannot castle on that flank anymore. It's just in the way. You want to pick it up and throw it off the board.
Huge stuff for Hans Niemann. Massively better already against Alireza Firouzja, one of the greatest Title Tuesday players there is. What is it about Hans Niemann's play today?
It's just the confidence. He's scaring his opponents. Firouzja could have played better moves in the last few turns, could have mixed it up, could have made Hans calculate, but Firouzja's ducking every challenge, ducking every battle until now because he had to. He's grabbed a pawn in the center, and I'm surprised Hans didn't stop to consider that, but maybe the white bishop in the near future is going to line up on this diagonal. It looks very, very juicy, very tempting. I wouldn't be surprised to see a knight for bishop trade as well. We will see Firouzja try to cling on to his extra pawn, at least suffer for something. But there we go, a trade. And what will Hans Niemann play? Maybe a pawn push in the near future. More likely the bishop will come forward. Still anyone's game, although the eval bar says huge advantage for white. Hans is going to have to put his money where his mouth is and have to fight with very, very high energy in the next few moves.
Look at this, 2:30 left on his clock. Hans Niemann is on fire. Alireza Firouzja struggling here.
Okay, wow.
Oh.
Interesting move. That was not on my radar. Hans Niemann quiet pawn push was not on my bingo card, and that has allowed Alireza just a little bit of time to step forward with his pawn. I'm surprised he didn't try to take, actually, to try and quicken up the development of his pieces. But now Hans has been able to kick the Black Knight away, which will most likely land in the center. And it's all about the bishops. The Black King as well, caught in the kill zone. It's not going to be able to castle any side anytime soon. Hans has so much space. Firouzja just looks in trouble. It still looks horrible for Black, even bar aside, even computer evaluation aside. What is your plan? Alireza thinking now, trying to find a way forward. He's going to run somewhere with his knight. He's just got to move and hope. He's still a pawn up. That is the saving grace as he leans up there. Alireza smiling for a little bit there, knowing how difficult his position is. He needs to dig deep. He retreats. Sad move to make, but a necessary one. His plan is to step forward with his pawn, bring his bishop out, finally get castled. But does he have enough time against Hans Niemann? Hikaru
Nakamura and Jan Nepomniachtchi, the bar is in the middle in that game. Hikaru with 8.5 points. Probably needs to hope Hans Niemann loses this game, and with a win, he will have chances to win Title Tuesday. But right now, it's looking like Hans Niemann will win Title Tuesday Game Week 5, although it seems to be a lot of stuff happening right now in this game.
Yeah, he's playing lots of quick moves, Hans Niemann, without wanting to calculate too much. There we go. He trades off bishops and steps forward with his queen. That's very cunning. It's hitting the knight, but also hitting the pawn in the center. If the pawn drops off, the other pawn drops off in the middle. But most important for Firouzja is to castle. So I wouldn't be shocked if, there we go, he moves the queen. He's going to try and move his knight out the way to offer a queen trade. Still back in the game now, Firouzja. He just needs to be careful of the clock. 1 minute against 2 minutes. He's getting desperate. Maybe move the knight out the way to one of these two squares. Offer that queen trade. Just cling on. Try to survive. He needs to get his king castled. If he gets castled, he's better. Firouzja, it's not over. But he gives up on that hope by moving his rook. And there we go. The bar slides. The Black King, it looks doomed. It's now stuck in the middle forever. In between its two rooks, but that looks terrible. The white rook now can grab a pawn. Hans Niemann, level material with a big advantage.
Look at this. Hans Niemann. Almost 2 minutes on his clock, massively better. It's just huge trouble for Alireza Firouzja. He has hardly any time on his clock. He looks resignated on the camera, I have to say. Is there any hope any hope for Alireza Firouzja?
He needs a blunder, Alireza Firouzja here. He needs to speed up, first of all. Otherwise, he's just losing on time. But he needs somehow to get the queens off this board. The Black King is so stuck on the back rank. Rook's coming off actually helps him, as we see there. The White Rook wants to come up to the board, but Black's queen can give some checks, maybe save this game. Hans Niemann has to be careful of a counter. Maybe some hope for the first time in a long time for Alireza Firouzja. This last trade, a bit of a misstep from Hans Niemann, allowing the Black Queen to open up on this diagonal. He moves his bishop forward. That bishop's going to throw itself in the way of any checks. What can you do here, Alireza? Can you create counterplay? He drops back his bishop, drops back his queen this time. 17 seconds. It's a blunder, though. The White Rook steps up. Now queen trade might not help Alireza. Is it time to get those queens off the board? Is it time to step up with your pawn, get closer to promotion? He offers the queen trade, tries to force it. Alireza now brings his queen back. Last hope is a perpetual check, but it's not going to save him. Rook trade. 13 seconds for Alireza this time. There's going to be so many checks against the Black King, which is going to be forced out into the open here. More pawns drop. Looks like checkmate, but the Black King is trying to run forward. No way to trap it yet, but that could be the clincher. Hans Niemann, putting his queen in the center of the board, has stopped all checks. 8 seconds for Firouzja. It's nearly over now.
Hikaru Nakamura has won against Jan Nepomniachtchi. 3 seconds. And there it is. Hans Niemann wins Title Tuesday Game Week 5. What a performance. He makes his debut in the Autumn Split and goes straight for the victory. He beats Alireza Firouzja in the final round and he takes it with 10 points. What a day for Hans Niemann. He's been confident. He's been happy all day long and he takes it. What can you say about his performance today, David?
Wow, I mean, so impressive. Just almost perfect, Hans Niemann's performance there. He had a couple of draws earlier, a couple of shaky moments. For one move, he was lost against Hikaru Nakamura. But it's just that willpower to always put the opponent under pressure that really paid off.
We see the red numbers on Alireza Firouzja's clock. He was in huge trouble on the board, on the clock. Hans Niemann takes it. Wow, he wins Title Tuesday. Again, Hans Niemann. This is his 10th victory in history, his first in the Autumn Split. He gains 10 points on the Champions Chess Tour standings. He has started his road to the Esports World Cup. He's on his way to Riyadh. With performances like this, he will have no issue on getting to Riyadh. Wow. Just wow. Look how happy he is. This means something.
It really does. And it's been a while. Hans hasn't had the easiest run lately. Esports World Cup didn't make it to the final group, the final bracket, the main event. Grand Swiss losing in the last round to Anish. A win would have seen him in the candidates. He was that close, but bouncing back. And look at that, Firouzja reacted there and shocked to something before his camera froze, maybe logging off now.
What is that about?
Wow. Alireza Firouzja leaving us guessing.
Yeah, that's a perfect place to just log off. Looking shocked. Hans Niemann, though, so happy. He wins Title Tuesday Game Week 5. Second place goes to Hikaru Nakamura, who wins that final game against Jan Nepomniachtchi. We see Vidit takes 4th place. Impressive stuff. Scoring points on the Champions Chess Tour leaderboard. All top 10 players do. All right. Hans Niemann takes it.
Well deserved. He's still chatting away with his viewers over there, with his community. I know he likes to interact a lot with his fans, and he put on a real show for them today. He gets first. Many congratulations to Hans. But Hikaru, great performance as well.
Yep.
Very consistent now. 2nd place, not bad at all after last week's win. Dayak, Vidit, Renato Terry, some interesting names. Jospem as well, Jose Martinez, doing the best he's done so far in the 5 game weeks as he enters the top 7 there as well.
Yeah. Wow, Title Tuesday is intense. 2 hours, and here we have the winner, Hans Niemann. We've seen a lot of action today as well. Let's take a look at another action replay, one of the highlights from the past few rounds, and it's, of course, this one, Jan Nepomniachtchi with the white pieces here, both on 8 points against Hans Niemann. And this must have been where Hans basically took the title Tuesday victory today.
Yeah, and we saw it in the reaction. Very few players celebrate mid-game in chess. It's seen in other sports all over the place, but not in chess, because you normally don't relax so early, especially against world-class opposition, but Hans was so confident. This was the key moment, as you said there, the knight fork, hitting the queen, hitting the rook, and winning the rook ultimately, that got him the advantage. And it looked like he was conducting his own music there, conducting his own victory. And Nepo just looked shell-shocked. Nepo, normally when he loses, is shaking his head, gutted, but he knew he was tricked by a real moment of genius there.
Fantastic stuff by Hans Niemann. Yeah, and what a point you make there, David, about celebrating during a game. It's almost like you celebrate a goal in football or other sports, right? You actually celebrate the good moves or your opponent's blunders.
Yeah, and it's rare in chess because you don't want to feel silly at the end of a game. If you lose after kind of blowing a winning position, you don't want to disrespect the opponent necessarily, but that's why kind of having players remote gives them the platform to celebrate and not distract the opponent. It's a nice touch, and I've seen others doing it. Hans was taking it to another level, as he likes to do, but yeah, I think just a great game. That was the clincher, that little sequence there.
Yeah. Hans Niemann takes it game week 5 with some really, really impressive play. He takes his 10th victory in Title Tuesday history. He's up there with the big names, one of the ones to reckon with. What is it about his style that really just suits this format and the new time format of 5+0?
Yeah, it's just this style that you can't quite pin down. A lot of players have very defined opening repertoires. Hans does too. He has certain favorite openings, but he can play very aggressive chess or very boring positional chess. He enjoys it equally. So you don't know where you have him, and normally you know kind of exactly what strategy is going to work, but especially because he was in the lead towards the end, people were taking risks against him, that just played into his strengths. So yeah, Hans Niemann, he's been developing this style over years, especially the last 3 years. He's been changing things up, improving, adding new kind of bows to his string, and paid off today.
Yeah. In classical chess, he's ranked as number 15 in the world. Of course, he has a goal of reaching the candidates next year and potentially qualifying for the World Championship match. He has been very outspoken about his big goal in life is to become world champion. Mm-hmm. And with the progress you've seen Hans make over the past year even, what chances do you give him to reach that big goal?
Ooh, it's difficult. I mean, it's still early days in his career. He's still kind of the same generation as the likes of Arjuna Regaisi, who've arguably taken a few steps further forward in classical chess. He's still yet to prove it in classical against the very top guys, Hans. But he's doing all the right things. He's playing a lot. He's very active in training. He's kind of super disciplined. His knowledge is growing every day. And yeah, I would say in classical, still some improvements against Anish Giri in the final round of the Grand Swiss. Didn't look like himself. Maybe some nerves there. But yeah, in terms of Blitz Rapid, I think he'll be a world champion at some point in one of those two time formats. Classical is going to be difficult though. So many rivals who specialize more on that time format.
Yeah. Well, we've seen today online Blitz chess. He is amazing in this format, and he has started banking up points towards the Esports World Cup happening next summer. Maybe he's going to win that one. The reigning champion is Magnus Carlsen. He is now already qualified for next year's Esports World Cup. Everyone else is playing Title Tuesdays, hoping to bank some points every single week on the Champions Chess Tour leaderboard. We are hoping to get a comment from Game Week 5 winner Hans Niemann. That would be very cool. He's been just so happy today. And David, you play a lot of chess yourself. You've been up there. You played many Title Tuesdays. You play a lot of online tournaments as well. How important is that mood and confidence to be able to win against all these top guys?
Yeah, I can't highlight it enough that confidence is so key in all types of chess online. I played Hikaru in Freestyle Friday just a few days ago. I was actually better in the final position, one move before I blundered, but I was just sitting there being like, I'm getting outplayed. You need to trust yourself. Mm-hmm. And Hans knows he's not playing perfect chess. Nobody can, but he's playing moves that he enjoys. And if you play them quickly, that scares the opponent. If you play them confidently, if you go for their king, scares the opponent. And chess is more than 50% psychological. It's about good moves, but it's also about staying resilient. And yeah, it's super important.
Yeah. Super important. All right, we are still hoping to get a comment from Game Week 5 winner Hans Niemann. In the meantime, we're joined by Alexander Bortnik, our great friend. Can you hear me, Alexander?
Yes, I can hear you. Hi.
Hi, it's good to see you. How are you?
Good, like interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. So I know you didn't have your best title Tuesday today. How would you sum it up?
I finished 8th of 11 last round. Still have problems with my time management. Like I got flagged twice, so I hope next will be better.
Yeah. Is it difficult to get used to this 5+0? Have you figured out some sort of magical trick to make it work?
Yeah, absolutely. Still, after 3+1, a lot of tournaments still have some problems with that, but I think it's going to be better soon. I hope so. Yeah. But it's more interesting, of course.
And we do love following you in Title Tuesday, Alexander. I also wanted to talk to you today because you've been very active on X last 24 hours with some news coming out from the FIDE CEO Emil Sutovsky about some changes to ratings and rating rules and farming. And some changes happened to your rating numbers, correct? And you were not happy about that.
Yes, I'm not happy. I lost like 35 points of my rating. And honestly, I don't like to discuss, in the X when many different streamers does all the time comment something. But I thought that's kind of unfair. And first of all, I just didn't know about any rules what they posted. I just saw it as minus some 35 points, and I had no idea what's the reason what happened. Yeah, before actually Sutovsky to clarify that was some rule which they provided like in November last year, and I remember that my friend of mine and who is also arbiter pointed that, but after I never seen any change of my rating, I thought they just canceled the rule. So we are not the arbiters to follow every rules what FIDE updates, and that's like still surprising me. Like 1 year they not calculate any of rating of Blitz rating. Now they, somehow decide to change that. They figure out right now when Hikaru start to play, he is the classical tournaments. I don't think it's just coincidence. I think I don't know what else to add.
Do you?
I see also. Yeah, sorry.
Does it feel like a hopeless sort of situation when FIDE enforces these rules and regulations and new things upon you guys, and you guys are out there fighting for your ratings and your numbers and your points and your invitations to tournaments every single day as chess players? How frustrating is it when these things happen?
Yeah, first I don't know what else I can do with that. So they decided recalculate it, and I don't know what else I can do. So I just posted. We was talking on my streams this. If you have some ideas what else I can do, okay, I'll just take it. Really, I don't know. Also, I don't feel like that. I like that's a word like farming word. I don't farm. I just play in tournament, which is not many of Blitz tournaments in the world, especially in USA. We have just here when you can play in Charlotte Chess Center. Before of that, I never lived in Charlotte, so I didn't play here Blitz, and I don't know they actually exist before. No, so we're just playing, and a lot of strong Grandmaster came here and play as well. Like last year was Caruana here play the Blitz tournament. And many different GMs, but nobody said about that. Like we just play in strong tournaments as well. No, everyone pointed that we playing against some sort of 1900. Okay, that's Swiss tournament when everyone can play here. So even you, please just it's Emil Sutovsky. That's what I want to say. He can come and play. We will be happy to see him here as well.
Would be cool to see him play Title Tuesdays. Now, Alexander, David agrees with a lot of what you're saying, right? And the frustration here, David. What is the reasoning from FIDE to do what they've done?
I don't know. We need Emil to explain every time. I mean, I've been quite vocal on X as well, but Every time I ask a question, shut down very strongly, and the point is never really addressed. So, yeah, it's disappointing. It does feel like players are kind of discouraged from playing for fun. Like now we're asked to take a lot of risk, and I don't know. It's going to be tough for players. There's going to be a huge kind of disparity, I feel, between the top and players lower down. Yeah, I've said a lot already, and I don't want to be too negative in general. I hate kind of disagreeing with systems, and I kind of want there to be an inherent level of trust, but a lot of strange stuff going on right now. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. The FIDE rating stuff happening there. Let's see what happens in the future. But it doesn't affect Title Tuesday and online ratings and Champions Chess Tour standings and road to Esports World Cup and all of that, Alexander. How important is it for you to keep playing Title Tuesdays now and bank one of those spots in next year's EWC?
Yeah, that's very important, and I'm happy we have this opportunity. But I also will keep playing, over the board. So we have in Charlotte Bliss tournament on Saturday, and with new rules. As I said, it's not about farming, so I will play, of course. Also, I want to add, it's not first time when FIDE taking some of my ratings from my Blitz, because in 2016 I played Abu Dhabi Blitz tournament, and in second round I won a game, but then I see it's still in FIDE actually, as I lost that game, and I minus 20 points of rating after that game happened. And I was trying to contact someone that day. I'm just writing to the Ukrainian Federation, to arbiters, to everyone else. No, still nothing changed with my rating there. So it's still minus 18.40, like in 2016. And nobody changed that. So why? Give me back my points, because I won that game. And still, I lost that game. It's in their statement. But no, they only taken some points. I don't think they will back ratings. Will be like that right now. But I will keep playing and online and over the board.
I just feel it's against the kind of idea of sport that players can be playing a game where if they win, they gain 0, but the opponent can gain everything, and it just doesn't feel fair somehow. So I'll leave it at that. But. Yeah, Alexander, I just want you to come back to Oslo. I missed you when you were here last time, so you need to come back, man.
Come back here for that great air in the Dave Cave. Alexander, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you again very soon.
Thank you so much.
Alexander Bortnik, a great player in Title Tuesdays. He didn't have the best day today. Someone who had a fantastic day today is Hans Niemann. Congratulations on winning Game Week 5.
Hi. Thank you.
You have looked so confident, so happy all day, Hans. How are you right now?
Great. The American anthem and really gave me strength.
Was that what
As
you
a proud American chess player.
Yeah, we were wondering what you were listening to. You were, it were really looking like you were having a good time today. Was that the key to winning Game Week 5?
Well, it's hard to be in a bad mood when you're winning all your games. And especially my game with Hikaru, although I didn't win the game, it felt like such a psychological victory, because usually if we play and run the same points, he's white, he'll force a draw with sort of this Berlin draw. But the fact that I had more points, he never really plays Roy Lopez unless he wants to force a draw. And then I avoided the draw multiple times and then pushed a bit. I think I feel psychologically quite confident against Hikaru now, considering his, let's say, lack of ambition in his style, which seems to only be against me and one other player.
Okay. Well, Hans, you take your 10th Title Tuesday victory in history today. Big number. Congratulations.
10?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost count. That's a good sign, I guess.
Exactly, yeah. And we've missed to see you in this new, so now we call it, the autumn split. This is Game Week 5. There's been a new time format. You make your debut today. We haven't seen you so far. What have you been up to? Of course, Grand Swiss took up some of your time.
Yeah, it's just while traveling, Proctor is just so miserable to use. So, if I'm traveling and I'm on Proctor, the lag is so bad that I felt like I was losing on time so many games. So I wasn't really in the mood to use Proctor while traveling. Now I'm sort of home, so it's more convenient. So I thought I would play. But I also don't think that the 5+0 format is the best for my classical chess. With increment, it's a bit more serious. But I've also already qualified to the Speeches Championship. But obviously, the Esports World Cup is something to try and qualify for.
Exactly. And how important is that for you to play Title Tuesdays, to bank points? You banked 10 points today, to bank points every week and to qualify for the Esports World Cup, which was such a huge success, such a fun event this summer.
Yeah, I'm much more focused, to be honest, on the World Cup, US Championship, the freestyle, and the World Rapid and Blitz. Like, I don't think it's a main priority because there are so many ways to qualify. So I feel quite confident that I'll be making it somehow. So it's not like I'm dying to play Title Tuesday every day, but there's just too many classical events now, and that's the main focus, to be honest. But because I really haven't been playing much Blitz, like most of the training games or the Blitz that I play is like privately and much slower. So yeah, I mainly like for online events that I kind of care about. It's mainly the Speeches Championship. But now the main focus is, I guess, there's a lot of over-the-board tournaments.
Definitely. How will you describe your play and your form these days, Hans? Are you better than ever?
I think it's only improving, right? Obviously, I kind of had 3 years of my chess career robbed, or sort of 2.5. So I've had to make the most of my opportunities. But now there are tournaments coming up where, you can run, but you can't hide, I suppose. So I'm looking forward to making the most of those opportunities. Especially freestyle. So I think I'm only improving, and I should only improve even more as I play more games against the very best in slower games.
Yeah, of course. There's been a lot of noise around your name in the last few years with all the drama that's been happening. It feels like it's sort of calmed down now, and maybe you can focus more on the chess than all this other stuff happening. How important is that for you?
Well, I suppose some noise it's decreased, but the attacks against me, while publicly have stopped, the private ones haven't really stopped. Right, I haven't been invited by a single event in America in the past almost 3 years. So being blacklisted in my own country is something that people have sort of tried to say because it's because of hotel rooms and all this stuff when it's really not. And I haven't gotten a single really invitation. So although the most damaging things for all the false accusations, the actual things that people do behind closed doors have equally, if not greater, impact on my career. So that's still frustrating, but I suppose I've gotten accustomed to that, and I remain undeterred, and my performance at the Grand Swiss was not bad. So I'm just moving forward.
Moving forwards, that's very nice. Now, and I'll let you move forwards as well. Just one more question, sort of taking a little bit back. Who has been important to you? Who's been by your side? Who supported you? Who has helped you sort of get through all the noise around your name?
God the Almighty.
Big answer. Hans, congratulations on your big win today. How will you celebrate?
I won't celebrate. Back to training.
Back to training. I guess that's the perfect chess celebration. Hans, again, congratulations. We hope to see you again next Tuesday.
Thank you. Take care.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Hans Niemann is the winner of Gameweek 5 in Title Tuesday. This was the 5th out of 13 game weeks in the autumn split, so still a lot of points to be banked up. This is the Champions Chess Tour standings. Magnus Carlsen is still on top. He didn't play today. Magnus announced that he's a father now. He had a baby boy 3 days ago, and he was home with his family today. Again, congratulations to him and Ella. Still on top of the standings. Hikaru, with second place today, is now second on the standings with 18 points, and Niemann playing his first Title Tuesday of the split is on 10 points, gets 10 points for his victory. He is inside those players that currently are qualified for the Esports World Cup. Massive performance by Hans. Some interesting games, some entertaining moves here today, David. Title Tuesday is always fun.
Yeah, it's always fun, and even kind of up until that last kind of half of the final round, we weren't sure who was going to come out on top. It could have been Hikaru, could have been Faruja, could have been anyone. It's nice to see these really strong events. Last week was super strong, of course, with so many players re-entering the arena. This time we missed Magnus, but actually all the rest of the top players were there. And I'm hoping that trend continues.
Exactly. Will Magnus be back next Tuesday? I mean, for the first time as a father, I'm going to be wondering that all week, and I'm already looking forward to Tuesday in a week, game week 6. We hope you guys will join us again. Thank you for watching.
But look at this. It is a blunder, apparently. Black needs to go for checkmate. The white king is stuck on the edge of the board. There's some huge traps against it. And there we go. Neither side happy. Bortnik is about to run out of time.
Oh!
And blunders galore, but it's all about the clock. 2 seconds for Black. Pre-moves everywhere. There we go. Magzulu takes the win. Esipenko brings his bishop forward, but a blunder it looks like. Grischuk stands up. He knows he's about to win, but Nepo has blundered. Hans Niemann catching him in a nasty trick. There's a skewer on the 3rd rank. That white bishop could not move because the rook behind it is pinned. And look at this. Hans Niemann flexing because he's landed a fork, hitting the queen, hitting the rook. If this knight is captured, his rook will capture the white rook. He's winning material. That is game over. And Nepo blocking with his bishop. Desperation. A promotion now would win it. And there we go. Hans takes the point. Nepo smiling, but must be devastated inside.
Here we go.